Live on CBC, Hockey Night in Canada. Brought to you by Ford of Canada. On behalf of Ford and Mercury dealers from coast to coast. Ahead and participating retailers and record companies in Canada. The Bank of Nova Scotia with nearly 1,000 branches across Canada to serve you. Molson's, brewers of Molson Canadian Lager Beer.
It's been a sunny May 4th in Montreal, where cool weather has stayed around a bit too long to suit most of us. But today there was a welcome touch of warmth to the atmosphere. And tonight the atmosphere should be even warmer, indoors at the Forum, where the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Montreal Canadiens are set for Game 2 of their Stanley Cup semifinal series. The Canadiens were 5-3 winners in the series opener Tuesday, and the trend seemed to be set here in the opening moment of the game. The Canadiens came out flying. They leveled solid checks at the Leafs. They scored the first goal after only 23 seconds, and they bombarded Toronto goaltender Mike Palmateer, who performed brilliantly throughout the game. The Leafs' game plan had been to use the body against Montreal, but as Roger Nielsen said afterwards, they didn't hit the Canadiens because they couldn't catch them. This was the play leading to that early Montreal tally. Steve Shutt wins the face-off. The puck is fed back to Serge Savard, and he fires it past everybody and through Palmateer's legs. That started the Canadiens on their way to the 5-3 victory. As we look at the key figures for tonight's game, goaltender Mike Palmateer of the Maple Leafs again looms as a key man for Toronto. He was brilliant against the Kings and against the Islanders, and he played a super game despite the 5-3 score here on Tuesday. And defenseman Ian Turnbull has been carrying an extra burden because of the injury to Borja Salmi, and Turnbull has responded with the best hockey of his career. Up front on Tuesday night, two veterans led the Canadiens to victory. Their team captain, Yvan Cournoyer, continued his great playoff performance with 2 goals. That gives Cournoyer a total of 6 in 6 Stanley Cup games this year. He scored the 6 goals on only 7 shots. And centerman Jacques Lemaire, who's coming off a fine regular season of play, scored a picture breakaway goal for the Canadiens in the first period, and the Canadiens look to him to continue his fine play again tonight. Good evening, everyone. This is Dick Irvin speaking to you from the Forum in Montreal. Maple Leafs say, yes, it will be different. We will follow Coach Nielsen's game plan, and we will catch the Canadiens. As far as the home team is concerned, they're just happy to keep things exactly the way they were. They like the result on Tuesday night. Our broadcast crew is certainly ready, I can tell you that. Joining us in the booth tonight will be Bill Clement of the Atlanta Flames. Danny Gallivan will be calling the play-by-play. And once again, Don Marshall will be featured during the intermission, bringing you highlights from the Boston-Philadelphia game. And during the first intermission, the old-timers final on Showdown 78, Andy Bathgate and George Armstrong firing at Johnny Buck. The old-timers final in the first intermission. Our Stanley Cup playoff coverage will return with the opening face-off.
Don't go too fast.
Okay.
Okay. Use your brakes when you reach the corner.
Like all parents, we have the protective instinct, too, about life and security and the future. And that's what life insurance is all about.
Be careful!
Talk it over with Mutual Life of Canada. We've got children, too.
Life is a mutual.
Mercury Marquis is for more than one lifestyle. Marquis' smooth and quiet 6-passenger riding comfort, superior riding characteristics, and outstanding road handling ability make it an appealing choice. Marquis is the versatile car for more than one lifestyle. Marquis has Ford of Canada's DuraGuard system of anti-rust processes, backed by a no extra charge 36-month limited distance warranty against rust perforation. Mercury Marquis, we're proud about that. At the sign of the cat.
After Game 1 in this series on Tuesday, the losing coach, Roger Nielsen, said he wasn't sure if the Canadiens played that well or his team, Toronto, would play that poorly. Well, the winning coach is here. Scotty, in retrospect, looking back 2 nights, how would you answer that?
Well, we certainly forechecked like we wanted to, Dick. Sometimes you just can't, but I think the first goal helped us a lot, and until we gave up our second goal, we were playing as well as we've played in a long time. We had very good legs going most of the night. We had a lot of speed, and I think the week layoff, we had some good workouts, and the Leafs had come off an emotionally tough series. They won it, and I think we actually caught them maybe on a downslide rather than say they'll be on the upswing tonight.
The talk about Toronto having to play it rough against Montreal, what do you think about that?
Well, I think it's part of strategy and part of common sense. They're trying to get a good defensive game going, and if you're playing the body, then you know it has to be working pretty hard. And I really, I mean, as far as there hasn't been much illegal stuff going on that hasn't been called, so I don't think it affects our team. I mean, we've got to skate and we've got to do our checking at the right time.
So there you have some pre-game 2 thoughts from Montreal coach Scotty Bowman. No lineup changes tonight. There was a story going around earlier this evening that Larry Robinson would be a doubtful starter, but Robinson will be in the lineup for the Canadiens. In Boston, the Bruins are off and flying against the Flyers. They are still in the first period, and the Bruins have opened up a 3-0 lead. That game started at 7:30 Eastern Time. Bobby Schmotz, Rick who got the winning goal in overtime in Game 1, and Wayne Cashman have done the scoring for the Bruins, so they lead Philadelphia 3-0. They are still in the first period, and as I mentioned, Don Marshall will be along during the intermissions on this telecast to bring you highlights from the game being played right now at the Boston Garden. We are set here as the Canadiens and the Maple Leafs are ready for Game 2, but first, Roger Doucette and the national anthem.
With him, the national anthem.
Good evening, everybody. Danny Gallivan and Bill Clement in the broadcast booth as we look at the officials. Brian Lewis is your referee, Claude Baysard and Armstrong, the two gentlemen who worked the first game, are here again tonight. And the goaltenders, and there's Dryden with an average of 2.17. And Paul Matero was the standout in the first game as an average of 2.05. Bill Clement, welcome from Atlanta. Did you bring some of the good weather with you? What do you look for in this game? Okay, we're going to see very quickly, perhaps, on the right side. It goes to the lead line. Here is Sittler into the corner. Savard racing in against Maloney. To the far side, Lafleur. Toronto moving up quickly, but the Canadiens are starting out led by Lapointe. Ahead for Jarvis. He failed to negotiate contact. Gainey is bumped in the corner by McDonald. Now Sittler firing it into the center ice area. Now Maloney along the boards with Lapointe, and that is the first indication, Bill, in the series that perhaps we might have some outbreaks.
Well, obviously, Toronto is going to try and carry through in their game plan, but let's not forget that Montreal has a very big team, and they're not to be intimidated. They've played many hockey games this year, and other teams have tried to intimidate them, so Toronto will have their hands full, definitely, if they try and take the body to Montreal and expect no retaliation.
And then if you take the body too much, you might get penalties. The power play might kill you.
Well, you can't take penalties against the Montreal Canadiens all night and hope to stay even.
But definite indication would be that the Leafs look very, very much more aggressive. Chartrand was upended from the face-off. Now it's Gainey clearing it on the left side to center. Savard knocking it out. Williams coming in, and he's bumped solidly by Savard. Lapointe around the net, getting organized with Jarvis and Gainey. The wingers go ahead. Lapointe takes a look, gets it out to Chartrand. Back to Savard in the center ice area. His shot hit a stick, and then Savard clears it in. Glennie is in there for the Toronto Maple Leafs as the teams make changes while the play goes on. Williams ridden into the boards by Savard. Now here's Steve Shutt in full flight to the Toronto line, and he can't get through there. Here's Sittler back for Toronto. Making moves. Over it goes to Maloney. The shot. The rebound. And two saves on the short side by Maloney and Sittler. Robinson ahead of goals, and he missed Shutt with it. Shutt is bumping in there with Williams. Shutt tries to center it. Back it goes to Russell's shot. And a ricochet off the stick to the corner. Lafleur to Nyroff's shot. Cleared into the corner by Glennie. Lemaire is fighting for possession against Maloney and Glennie, and the play is stopped.
From the Forum in Montreal, this is Stanley Cup 78.
Every time you mix a drink, you've got an 80% chance of doing a good job. See this? 4/5 of your drink is mixer. And no matter what you're mixing it with, that 4/5 is going to make or break the taste of your drink. That's why you should be using Canada Dry mixers for every drink you make. Because it's no secret Canada Dry makes better mixers. So don't take chances with taste. You can't lose when you use Canada Dry mixers. Anytime, all the time.
So Scotty Bowman behind the Canadiens bench talking to Bouchard, face off in Toronto territory. A quick shot by Lapointe. And Palmetier, who has that tremendous reflex action, he was on it and cleared it to the corner, and the Leafs shoot it down the ice. Bill Clement, how about that score in Boston, 3-0 against your former team?
Well, they lost 4 straight to the Bruins last year, and I felt certain that they would be trying to erase that memory that they had of that 0-4 series with the Bruins, but apparently the Bruins are trying to repeat.
See this young fellow here in the end, number 23, Carlisle. I was very impressed with him the other night. So would you peel a good eye toward him and give us an assessment later, Bill? Now Nyra falls back. Here's Jones coming up on the line. Over goes to Butata's shot, and Dryden holds on. Tell us something now about Carlisle, if you will.
Well, I saw him play a couple of games against the New York Islanders, Danny, and I was impressed as well with his enthusiasm, and he certainly isn't afraid to take the body to anyone. He hit as many New York Islanders as any other Toronto Maple Leaf did in a really hard-hitting series. So if he keeps it up, I think he'll probably make his mark in the National Hockey League. He's young and is still learning, but he's got time.
He'll make his mark and make lots of money, too. You fellas make a lot of money, don't you?
Not that much.
Now it's Turnbull clearing it in from center. Nyra back, forechecking Jones. So you see the Leafs, their forechecking pattern. Let's see if the Canadiens can get out. Now it's the point from center. He fired it in. On the move, Lafleur. Butler whipped it over on the other side. Boutat along the boards. He left it there for Turnbull upended by Lafleur. Now Butler comes from one side. It's cleared to the line. Johansson failed to set up Jones. Nyra dealt it to his man. Butler. Here's Lafleur coming down at the line. Over the shot. There's the shot. A cannonading shot right on. And Palmetier got in front of it. Oh, Judd had plenty on that one.
Tremendous shot by Steve Shutt. Mike Palmetier made a stick save on that one. So the Canadiens had, I guess, their best scoring chance. The Leafs lead them in shots 3-2. Mike Palmetier not quite as busy and under fire to the extent he was in the opening minute of play in the series opener on Tuesday. Right here we might get in, for anyone who missed it, that Team Canada was beaten today in Prague. They lost to the Czechoslovakian national team. The score was 5-0. There's another angle of that shot that Steve Shutt let fly.
3 minutes and 10 seconds have gone by in the opening period. There's Carlisle against Lambert, and we're moving in for good measure for Toronto.
Well, I noticed here tonight that the teams so far have been coming out of their own zone pretty well. That's got to be rather important to the overall scheme of things.
It certainly is. You have to play in your opponent's zone to win, and both of them have to execute in their own zone.
Carlisle clearing it up. Williams trying to lug it out. Cournoyer fakes the shot. Centered it in front. Loose puck, a scramble. Now Carlisle has bumped up Cournoyer. Cournoyer penalty coming out. Feverish activity in the Toronto territory. Penalty coming out for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Tonight's Stanley Cup playoff game is coming to you from the Forum in Montreal.
The Amway story has chapters. This is one of them.
We felt trapped in a gray world, dead-end job, stuck at home, and then we discovered Amway.
We started part-time. We built an independent business, helped others start Amway businesses too. We're building it our way, and that gives us a lot of satisfaction and fulfillment. We're living again. With Amway, you could make it happen.
See your Amway distributor.
And get the whole story.
I'd have to think the Leafs might be a bit upset at the overall end result of this particular sequence. Serge Savard had dumped Tiger Williams at the blue line. That started the Canadians back in toward the Toronto net. It all ends up with Carlisle being penalized for holding at 3:34, and the Canadians get the first power play chance of the game.
It's back to Lafleur. He takes a look, in it goes. Lemaire shooting it. And it went off Glennie or Lambert in front. Now it's Lapointe. Back at the point, takes a look. Lafleur almost fanned on it completely. Lambert bumping with Turnbull. Here's Lemaire. Back to Lapointe. Lapointe takes a look over to Lafleur. Lafleur. Back to Lapointe. There's the score!
Still, the Leafs let the Canadians point man, Lafleur at Lapointe. They didn't rush them enough. They had time, and Larry Robinson got a stick on it, I believe.
Well, Larry Robinson in front of that net is a rather imposing figure. As a matter of fact, Marcel Pronovost used the same strategy against the Flyers with either Schoenfeld or Korab in front. You just can't move a big man from in front, and Larry Robinson just moves away from his check and is able to, I believe, get his stick on the puck.
You'll see here the puck went right through Paul Mateer's legs, the same way Savard's opening goal did on Tuesday night. There you see it from the back of the net camera angle. And Lapointe and Lafleur, who had that room and the time at the blue line, assisting, and Montreal with the first power play lead 1-0.
Canadians goal scored by number 19,
Here
Larry
is the official
Robinson.
announcement.
This is number 5, Guy Lapointe, and number 10, Guy Lafleur. At 4 minutes,
Now here's Sittler, knocked down at the line. Ray-Jean, number 15. And the Toronto Maple Leafs will be able to put into operation their power play and to see if they can duplicate the Canadians' speed of getting a goal. If they do, it'll be all tied. Very simple, Bill.
Well, there's a lot of adrenaline flowing out there, and here Ray-Jean hooks Darryl Sittler, even though he has a couple of men to beat. I doubt if Reggie Hall would have done that late in the game, but at this stage of the game, there's so much adrenaline flying out around there that it's tough not to hook once in a while.
Canadians penalty number 15, Réjean Houle. 2 minutes for hooking at 4 minutes, 17 seconds.
The Valley Cats, Sittler, McDonald, Weir, and Turnbull. That is the power play lineup for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Canadians leading 1-0. They have Jarvis and Gainey up front with Lapointe and Savard playing back. Here come the Leafs. Weir on the right side. He played a fairly strong game. Number 14 did in the opening game. Back to Turnbull, firing it. Rebound! And it's cleared away by Lapointe to Jarvis. And he knifed it over the glass.
The Flyers are on the board down in Boston. Orest Kindrachuk has scored, so that's a high-scoring affair. There it is, still in the first period. The Bruins leading the Flyers 3-1. Don Marshall will have a lot of the scoring highlights. He might not have time for all of them during the upcoming first intermission.
A minute and 36 seconds left in the penalty. Toronto, everybody up. McDonald getting it back to Weir. Weir's pass intercepted, and Jarvis rolls it down the ice. Here's Gainey going right in a goal. He fired it. And a splendid effort by Paul Mateer. I think he got a piece of that. We'll have to have a look at it again. But that little fellow looks at them unflinchingly, and he makes great saves. Here's McDonald going in for Toronto. Into the corner. Gainey off the board. Jarvis coming across the Toronto line. Now Now he's jammed in on the boards by Turnbull. They're going to stop and good play. We may get a look at that again, Bill.
Well, Danny, different pieces of equipment make different sounds when hit by the puck. And from here, I could actually hear that. And I'd bet that it hit the handle of his stick even above his hand. I think that's how lucky Mr. Palmetier perhaps was on that shot by Bob Gainey.
Well, the Bruins have scored again. 4-1 now for Boston over Philadelphia. Jean Rattel getting their 4th goal. Boy, everybody thought the Flyers defensively had tightened up so much, Bill, with Bernie Parent playing a lot better. There's Mike Pellick at the end of the Toronto bench. Did not see action in the game here on Tuesday. They're now at the end of one in Boston. 4-1 Bruins.
There's a bouncing ball. Oh, it changed direction. Palmetier, you know that reflex action we talked about a few seconds ago? He showed it there. If he didn't, it would have been a 2-1 hockey game. That would have been a tough break. Now in the penalty, 37 seconds left, and Ray John Ooh's penalty. Toronto trying to get something organized offensively. Valley Kett bumped his man, and Lemaire shoots it down the ice. Now it's Lanny McDonald into the center ice area, picked up by Turnbull. He's bodied by Risebrough. Back it goes to McDonald, over to Sittler. Sittler trying to keep it in, and it's cleared down the ice. Back forward goes Lanny McDonald against Lemaire. Lemaire kicking it. Now Sittler has to contend with Lemaire. Great forechecking job by Lemaire, and the penalty has expired. There's Ray Jean into the thick of things. Took a shot. He's wide with it. Mondeau racing to the corner, eludes Williams. He centered it. Back to Savard. There's the shot. The rebound. Ooh, going in. Takes the shot. Splendid save by Palmetier. Good pressure by the Canadians now. Here's Mondeau. Getting it over the third.
Timeout at a time like that, you'd think that maybe they should film a sequence and send it out to minor hockey coaches everywhere and say, tell your team to play this way.
That's what you call perfect execution. And as great a series as Mike Palmetier is having, as great a playoff, there's nothing he can do on this. It's a real shame. It was just, you just have to say a little prayer and hope that you get a piece of it, because it was perfectly executed.
Just as they did when they killed the penalty successfully, Bill. They just stayed on top of the Leafs. They just beat them to the puck. That's all there was to it.
They sure did.
No, it's 2-0 Montreal. Fleur with his 2nd goal of this series.
He's a native of Thursday, so is Bill Clement. They played together. We'll hear more about that later. Okay, later is now. When did you start playing hockey with Guy?
Well, I started when I was 12 years old, and Guy is a year younger than I am. By that time, he was a household name in Thurso and in other parts of the province of Quebec. I heard about him when I was 9 years old, before I even started playing hockey, so I followed him relatively closely. I probably know about as much about his background as anybody else. He was tremendous even then.
Is he the greatest hockey player you have ever seen?
It's between he and Bobby Orr. It has to be.
Thanks very much, Bill. It's the first of many times you'll be put on the spot tonight. Okay, it is 2-0 for Montreal. What happened there? False face-off again, Dick?
Looks that way, but I think they're staying in, Jones and Lemaire.
From the face-off, Butler to Carlisle. He whipped it off the boards. Boutet fell, no one near him. Now Robinson gives him a shove. There's a tough little customer, number 16, Jones, in there. Coming up with it for the Montreal Canadiens. Lemaire hitting the line. Lemaire walking in, firing it. Palmetier had to make a big save. Oh, how they opened up. And Lemaire was able to walk in there.
This is Stanley Cup 78 from the Montreal Forum.
What's it take to brew a great light beer?
If you're gonna brew a beer with great taste, there's only one place to start. Molson Light has got heart, 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 miles and miles of heart, heart, heart. Molson Light has got heart.
Had one yet?
10:40 left, 2-0 first period. Canadians, one game a series does not make. That's what the Leafs were talking about after the first game, but right here they find themselves behind again in the second game. 2-0. It's a long way from being over. We're just in the first period. Now here's Carlisle at the line, ahead for Ferguson. Lupien is out there on defense for the Montreal Canadiens. It's cleared into Montreal territory. Ellis in there going after Savard. Ferguson doing some forechecking too. Now the Canadiens, Lupien getting it to Lambert. Over for Cournoyer, and the Roadrunners offside of the line.
There's Joe Lupien as Scotty Bowman is using Lupien as spot duty. Spot duty work for the playoffs in the Detroit series, and he saw that type of duty the other night against the Leafs in Game 1. Lanny McDonald on the Toronto bench told me before the game he enjoyed the Laurentian retreat that Roger Nielsen lined up for the boys. He said it was nice to get away from it all.
And the Leafs clear it in. They scamper in there, led by Ferguson and Maloney. Risebrough has it, clearing it ahead to Nyrop at the line. He knocked it across the Toronto line, and Glennie cleared it back. Now then, Lapointe. Off the boards for Lambert. Risebrough's going in after Glennie. Behind the net, Carlisle picking it up. He's picking his way out up on the left side. Maloney has to go off his stick. Well, the Leafs and the Canadiens, that's a confrontation that conjures up thoughts of an unrivaled rivalry in Canadian sport, and they'll continue it in the third game of this series at the Gardens in Toronto on Saturday night. As we look at Neil Armstrong, he came in with 189 games to his credit in the playoffs. And I suppose he has done 10 since then, so he's near the 200 mark.
How many do you have to your credit? Figure that out?
Yeah, 26. I would say close to 300, I would think. I don't know. I'll have to look at my checks, canceled checks.
You mean you've cashed them all?
Certainly. I cashed it before the playoffs were over. Now here's Johansson getting it over to Turnbull. Chartrand almost stole it. Turnbull playing it back to Johansson. The Canadians doing the forechecking now. The Leafs are forced to get rid of it before they really wanted to, and Savard inadvertently cleared it over the board.
Bill Scotty's got people like Bouchard and Chartres out there, but I think really the trend so far has been what the Leafs were supposed to come out hitting. The Canadians have done every bit of as much hitting, if not more.
I agree with that. I think that the Canadians have actually taken the Leafs game plan away from them on their first goal. Yvan Cournoyer set up that power play, hit Carlisle, and knocked him right down in behind the Toronto net, and that set up the penalty that led to the Montreal's first goal.
2-0 for Montreal in the first period, and it's whipped in there off the right wing boards by Turnbull. Oh, Robinson was racked up. Kurt Walker is out there now. Two husky gentlemen got him, Maloney and Walker. A shot knocked down, and the Canadians race out, led by Robinson over the line with Chartrand. The Leafs break it up. Here's Sittler, who once scored 5 goals in a Stanley Cup game, going in for his first one. Didn't get it. Dryden grabbed it.
Well, Kenny Dryden came under a little bit of fire, not that much, but a little, for his work in the opener here on Tuesday night. He was fighting the puck somewhat, but there were two schools of thought. Punch Imlach told me after the game during an interview here on Hockey Night in Canada that you can't really fault the goaltender when he doesn't get that much work, and Dryden was certainly not very busy that night. Mr. Clarence Campbell, the past president of the National Hockey League, along with Andy O'Brien, longtime friend of everybody connected with the National Hockey League.
Now the Leafs, everybody up with 10:40 left. In the first period, back Johansson going in, and it's swept out by Gainey. 2-0, the Canadians leading. Now loose puck at center. Here's Jarvis knifing his way in. Back to Gainey, a shot. He was wide by a couple of feet. In there, forechecking, Uhl, bumping gently with Maloney. Not often do you bump gently with Maloney.
Phil, you're out there on the ice with those fellas earlier on. I don't know if you were surprised. I was a bit surprised, but when Bob Gainey was killing that penalty, he pulled away from Darryl Sittler, if you recall.
Bob Gainey's a tremendous skater, and what's really frightening is that they're getting bigger, too. You know, there should be a size limit somewhere down there. You should have it maximum 6 feet, maximum 180 pounds. I was big when I came into this league at 6'1", 187. I now weigh about 195, but I'm small now.
Well, you'll put on some weight down there in Atlanta. They feed you very well in the South. I don't know if you'll get any taller or not. Now it's into the corner. Here's Gainey. Gainey on the boards, clearing it to the right side. Réjean Olaford over the line. Gainey moving in. And Turnbull just got his stick on it in time to deflect it behind Gainey. And then Turnbull took Gainey into the corner very heavily. Nyrock shooting it to the far side. LaPointe off the boards for Lemaire. Lemaire to Gainey. Gainey coming down. Lemaire over the line. Lemaire tied up by Carlisle. Glennie sending Sittler out in the line. And Schutt breaks it up. Schutt and Lemaire particularly doing some great board checking. Now LaFleur tries to intercept a pass. There's Maloney winding up for a shot off the corner boards. Nyroff, rink-wide pass for LaFleur. Glennie gets it to Jones. Jones, the back pass intercepted by Schutt. Schutt having trouble getting clear. Now off the boards, Lemaire knocked it down to the Toronto line. Here's Carlisle picking his way, shooting it in. Boutet coming from the other side. Now Butler goes after LaFleur in the corner. They might get a whistle. They do.
With the score, Montreal 2, Toronto nothing. This is Stanley Cup 78.
Love Songs, a 20-star collection of super mellow music. Paul Anka.
I don't like sleep alone.
Diana Ross.
Do you know where you're going to?
David Soul.
Don't give up on us, baby.
Dan Hill.
Sometimes when we touch, the honest things to
Disc $6.99, tape $7.99 in the stores now. Love Songs.
Robinson and LaFleur scored for Montreal in the first period. 2-0 for the Canadians. 9 minutes left. There's Glennie chopping a shot off LaFleur. High into the air. Now it's up to center. Carlisle off the board. Butler shooting it in. And the game has settled down to a rather quiet pattern of play with Dryden holding it at the side of the net.
The Leafs' success in the quarterfinals was due to hitting and physical forechecking. Jerry Butler's been prominent in these roles, and we asked him if they could come up with the same kind of a plan against Montreal.
We feel a great deal of our success in the playoffs has been because of our hitting, because of the way our team is made up with the big forwards, and we feel that whenever you play the man and hit, that the puck changes hands, and that helps a great deal when you're in forechecking.
Well, as Bill Clement pointed out a moment ago, the Canadians have been taking that kind of a game plan to the Maple Leafs so far here tonight in the early going.
I'd say the Leafs had better start implementing their game plan pretty soon.
You still think they will start to lay on the body before this game is over, Bill?
Well, they said they would. It remains to be seen that they're going to.
There's a shot. Oh, what a leg save by Dryden on that. That was a wicked shot by McDonald. Dryden's best save of the series now at the Leafs line. It's broken up. Savard, bump Boutet, Jarvis. Over to Robinson. Robinson into the center ice area. Fades to the right side. He strides in over the line, all for naught on the offside.
That was a big, big save by Ken Dryden off Lanny McDonald. Boy, he can get that shot away quickly, can't he, Bill?
He sure can. It would have put Toronto right back in the game. And just watching Robinson cross that blue line there, oh, here it is. There's a big man with quick reactions. We're watching a small man at the other end with great reflexes. Well, there's a big man with great reflexes. And watching Larry Robinson cross the blue line heading into Toronto zone, I wonder if there's anybody in that Montreal team that can't skate at least 35 miles an hour. They're all so fast.
So there you see 8:23 left. First period, 2-0. LaPointe clearing it ahead, knocked down by Johansson, and he had that stick above the shoulder, so it's called back.
Well, Bob Gainey says that the Canadians can counteract the Leafs' game plan of hitting. Here's how he thought about that.
Prove that we can play a tough style of hockey. Over this season and in the past seasons, we have big defensemen and enough forwards who can play the body. But our biggest fort is our skating, and if our forwards are skating, not too many teams seem to be able to get enough good body checks on it to affect us badly. So I think this will be what we'll try to do, first of all, to counteract the hard-hitting style of the Maple Leafs.
Now in over the Toronto line to the corner. Risebrough jammed into the boards by Turnbull. Chartrand is shoving along with Weir, and the play is stopped. 7:53. Not too much has been happening of late, Bill. How long is this going to continue?
Hopefully not very long. I came a long way, and I want to see some playoff hockey. They got to get going from end to end. It's pretty choppy. Both teams are a little defensive conscious, it seems, at this stage of the game, and they're going to have to be some long passes to open it up.
We're in the second period now in Boston. 4-1, the Bruins leading the Flyers. John Rattel, in 1 1/3 games in that series, has 4 points, 2 goals, and 2 assists. He did not have a point in 4 games in the quarterfinal against Chicago.
Now Schutt's pass intercepted and picked up by Turnbull into the center ice area by Butler. Butler coming in. Runs into Nyrop. They struggle for it. On the boards, Jones back into the corner to Butler, trying to feed it out. He was upended by Lemaire. Now Lemaire and Butler. They jostle vigorously as Nyrop takes Jones into the board, and the truculence that did not appear in the first game is coming in a slow degree in this game.
Well, if anybody feels like pushing with Bill Nyrop, they're pushing against somebody that's very difficult to move.
This Stanley Cup playoff game is coming to you from the Montreal Forum.
Midnight is mystery. Midnight is excitement. Now midnight is Cougar, the Midnight Cat. In midnight blue and chamois, a bold new Mercury Cougar XR7 for $78 with deeply cushioned buckets, floor shift, console, and a padded tire deck. A new Cougar XR7.
Isn't this your year to join the Cat set?
At the sign of the Cat.
7-6 the shots on goal. The Canadians with the greater number, not by much. And in the goal-scoring department, Montreal leading by 2-0. They line up for the face-off to the left of Dryden. Johansson playing up by the right side, Turnbull at the other point. And Lafleur has it, his pass, and off Jones. Now Nyrop clearing it ahead. It's down on the right side. Shot playing it back to Nyrop. Nyrop clearing it in. They're checking each other very closely. So they are suffocating each other offensively right now. There have not been too many good offensive efforts in the last 5 minutes or so. Now in behind the Leafs net. Here is Boutet coming out on the right side into the center ice area. Dropping it back for Turnbull to Jones. He has Butler with him. Butler shoots it. Oh, he whipped it. Rising shot over the net. I don't know whether Dryden got a piece of it or not. Now Boutet getting it out to Jones. Backhand shot. Nyrop broke it up and he gave it to Lafleur. Lafleur lost it very quickly to Turnbull. Now it's Ellis back at the line, and his lead pass with Turnbull goes down the ice. It's going to be icing here against the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Bill, that line that Toronto just had out there, Butler getting the shot from the right side, that has been a very, very effective line for the Maple Leafs in the playoffs.
It certainly has been. You have to really respect the play of Jimmy Jones, who did a tremendous job against Brian Trottier from the Islanders. And from the looks of things tonight, Jerry Butler is trying to live up to his prediction that the Leafs would come out and hit. That shift, he hit everything that moved.
The fellas had a few shots and goals at playoff time. Rocket Richard in the crowd tonight.
I saw him coming in about 5 to 8. He didn't have peace until the start of the game at 10-8. They're looking for the autograph. Now penalty coming up. It was Williams upending Cournoyer, and the Tiger is going to the penalty box.
He's also very upset along the way, too. Canadians have a power play goal tonight, and they have another power play chance. Cournoyer is dumped by Williams, and referee Lewis has sent the Tiger to the penalty box. You fellas talking about the game settling down and game plans and what have you. The best way that I know to upset a team's plan is to get a 2-0 lead in about the first 5 minutes of the game.
That's very true. Toronto's at a decided disadvantage at this point, and they have to perhaps curb their hitting somewhat.
Now a point over to Lafleur. Lafleur takes the look into Mondeau. He makes the move to the left, goes to the corner behind the net. Cournoyer bumping solidly with Ferguson. Here's the point, close in for the shot. And it's blocked by Palmetier. Lambert takes Lenny into the boards heavily. Now Carlisle behind the net, clearing it on the right side for Ellis, and Lafleur is forced out over the line. Carlisle at center, losing it. Lambert coming down to the leaf line, left it at center, picked it up himself. He actually faked Lafleur on that. Now it's cleared in. 5 leafs across the blue line. The Canadians got it in. Ellis gets an opening and clears it into the center ice area with a minute and a dozen seconds left in the penalty to Williams. Here's Cournoyer. Another the first game. He couldn't get anywhere against Glennie. Now the Canadians are going to try it again with a new complement. They have Régin Houle on the ice. Shot Lemaire, Lafleur. Lafleur dippy-doodling in on the left side. Carlisle ties him up and knocks him to the ice. At the point, it got by Lemaire. And the crowd reacted, that is the Canadian supporters, to the treatment accorded Lafleur by Carlisle. Carlisle is very impressive for the Leafs. That was a long shot. Now it's Lapointe coming in on the left side. He lost it. It's loose. Where is it? They look for it. Finally, it goes to the corner. Jones tying up Lapointe. Glennie going in to cover up against Shutt, and the play is stopped for a face-off in Toronto territory. What do you think of that exchange between Carlisle and Lafleur, Bill?
It's pretty tough to tell from here. It's sometimes even tough to tell when you're down on the ice, but certainly did look like he put a little hold on him there and threw him to the ice, didn't it?
Strong boy, isn't he?
Yes, he is very strong.
"15 seconds left in the penalty. Canadians, everybody out. Now it's into the corner. Lemaire struggled to get in there against Jones. Here's Shutt getting it back to Robinson, the shot. He missed. Savard trying to keep it in, and a splash down the ice by Butler. The penalty has expired, and of course that's going to be icing against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Williams just got out of the penalty box.
Trying to stay in there to avoid an icing call in case somebody wasn't looking at the time clock, but his time was up and the Leafs were called.
Well, that power play by Montreal was completely ineffective, and let's give some credit to those Toronto penalty killers against that Montreal power play. You always have your hands full. They did an outstanding job that time.
Four minutes, 6 seconds. The time left in the first period, and somebody again fractures, leaving the starting gate a bit too quickly. That's happened so very, very often. Now, in behind the net. Johansson out on the right side to McDonald. His pass gobbled up at center by Chartrand, who was bumped by Sittler. Now into the corner for Gainey, getting it back to Chartrand. Chartrand loses it, but Jarvis is going to get it. He inadvertently put it right on the stick of Lanny McDonald. Into the corner, Gainey bumping with Johansson. Chartrand jamming with McDonald, and they get a stoppage in play.
Live from the Forum in Montreal, the Stanley Cup playoffs.
I'm a music lover, but I'm no engineer, right, Stanley? The last time I went shopping for stereo, I was so busy checking out the specifications that I didn't have time to listen to the music. So today, I brought Stanley along. He's an audiophile, right, Stanley? He checked out the specs while I concentrated on the music. And we both agreed on Sans Sui. Beautiful engineering, beautiful music. Sans Sui. There's even music in the name. Right, Stanley? Stanley?
Upper top left corner, 3:37, first period, 2-0 Montreal. Johansson ahead for McDonald. It hit Armstrong. Now here's Sittler cutting in the wing. Sittler flipping it. And Maloney couldn't pick it up. He didn't get there in time. Perhaps Sittler should have shot. Who knows? There's a shot by Risebrough. In behind the net, the rebound. Turnbull playing it off the boards. He's out over the line into the center ice area. Risebrough. Risebrough clearing it to the corner. Johansson digs in there quickly. And he gets it, and that's called for icing. Was Sickler in control of that puck? Was he in a position, Bill, to take the shot himself?
Well, I think he was, but he would have been on his back end. What he did there is he anticipated Dan Maloney continuing on the path that he was taking and going to the corner of the net. What Dan did is he cut in behind him sort of as a trailer. As a result, when Stitt looked down to pass the puck over to him, Danny wasn't there. He was actually cutting in behind him, so that the pass went into the corner.
For the Toronto Maple Leafs to be successful in the long run, they have to have these two big guns, Sickler and McDonald, in there scoring and getting scoring opportunities.
Absolutely, especially against the Canadiens.
Now here's Carlisle, and he whipped the shot. Wide. Into the corner for Maloney. Maloney tried to feed it in front, and it hit LaPointe's leg. Canadians starting out with Gainey, Jarvis, and Chartrand. Chartrand has it. Back it goes to Jarvis. He tried to set it up in front, and it turned out to be a shot with Paul Matier holding on.
You know, we spoke earlier, Danny, of a goaltender having to have enough shots to stay in the game and stay warm. It's very similar for forwards, too. Forwards, like every third shift. Every fourth shift, you seem to cool off too much on the bench. So it takes an exceptional forward to be the 10th or 11th forward and to go out there and do spot duty or go to kill penalties, similar to a pinch hitter in baseball. Everybody needs to stay warm, and at times goaltenders and forwards don't get the chance to stay warm out there.
Now, another poll reporting from the constituency of Boston, Massachusetts. It's 5-1 for Boston over Philadelphia. Now back to LaPointe. There's a shot. That ricocheted a bit, I think. Now a shot by shot. He didn't have too much on that. Lafleur into the corner, centering it, and is grabbed off by Glennie. Glennie up to Williams. He's forced to get rid of it quickly. And that's happened so often, Bill, there's an icing, that the Leafs, particularly the Leafs, are forced to get rid of that puck and make the play before they want to. That's because of the checking of the Canadians.
Because of the checking, and the checking of the effectiveness of the checking of the Canadians is as a result of their skating speed. When they can close the gap between themselves and an opponent quicker than the opponent can get away from them and get the pass away, it leads to tremendous checking, and that's exactly what they have going for them, is that skating ability.
2:23 left in the first period. Jones against Lemaire. Nyrop and LaPointe poised, but the Leafs get the draw. Out to the line it goes. Here's Boutet with Butler moving up. Butler couldn't get it. It went into Dryden, and Lafleur just gets rid of it to center. Turnbull to Johansson. Oh, watch that bounce. He did. That can be tricky.
Well, there have been two bouncers. Palmatier came very close to missing the first one, but that one was routine for Ken.
And now let's go down and we'll talk to Dick downstairs.
And in the upcoming first intermission, the old-timers are going to take over. Andy Bathgate will be along, George Armstrong and Johnny Bauer in the finals of the old-timers Showdown 78 competition. It's now 5-1 for the Boston Bruins. Bobby Schmatz has scored again. Don Marshall will have the scoring highlights from that game at the Boston Garden.
You know, Schmatz got that goal. I thought 5-2. I thought last year against the Canadiens, game in and game out, Schmatz was the most dangerous Boston forward. He is a great shot.
Great shot. Great competitor, great skating speed. You put them together, he's usually effective.
The Onaping Falls Huskies will play Sioux Michigan Indians in Junior B hockey finals at Levac Arena Saturday at 7 o'clock. Now, where's Levac Arena? Do you know, Bill?
Is it in Canada?
Oh, I don't know. I guess so. If a seventh game is necessary, it'll be played Sunday afternoon at 2. It could be in Sioux, Michigan.
Could be.
Anyway, they know where they're going for the game on Saturday, even though we may not know. Now it's Gainey clearing it out. It goes to center, grabbed off by Uhl. Uhl over the line. The back pass to Jarvis, a weak shot off Turnbull. Into the corner. Maloney. Johansson whips it up to the point, and Gainey is forced to go back into the center ice area. Robinson to Savard. Over it goes, Uhl to Jarvis. Johansson clearing it to the point. Robinson there, but it goes to Jarvis. Jarvis trying to center it. He holds it, still with it. Back to Savard. There's the shot! And that hit the side of the net, I think. That's the outside of the post. Back on the right side, McDonald, who has had the best scoring opportunity for Toronto. McDonald upended by Robinson. Now it's Uhl. Delicately dumping it in there and then going to the Canadiens bench. And a full change for Montreal. Cournoyer was having a great series. It's only the first period into the second game, but he has been a standout all through the piece. Now here's Lambert. Lambert flipped it to the lip of the crease. Dreisbach couldn't get it. Here's Dreisbach shooting it, and he rattled it off Turnbull's leg. On the right side, McDonald. McDonald clearing it in on the right side. 43 seconds left in the first period. Cournoyer racing down against Carlisle. And Carlisle prevails. And there's going to be a holding penalty, I think, against the Toronto Maple Leafs. It will be 22. Williams going up. Did you see that?
I'll have to try and take a look at this. I didn't even see Tiger Williams on the ice there. It was obviously somewhere out of the play. Maybe we don't even have a shot of it. It was so far out of the play.
Here's the announcement.
Holding.
Toronto's penalty, number 22, Dave Williams, 2 minutes for holding.
Tiger was a bad boy, but it didn't escape the eyes of referee Brian Lewis, but it sure did escape our eyes.
Barber has scored that second goal for Philadelphia. So again, the Leafs are short-handed. They'll try, of course, to kill out the time remaining. 21 seconds in this period, and then they'll have a minute and 26 seconds of penalty time against Williams in the second. Now Lafleur coming down, and he's broken up by Glennie. Glennie shooting it, and that should just about kill it off. Robinson is going to hustle and clear it down. Knocked down by Carlisle. That is the end of the first period. Lots of good hockey in the big inning, and then it flattened out.
Very effective play by the Montreal Canadiens. If they continue, Toronto will have their hands full, but it's not over yet.
Two big periods coming up, and not too much separating the teams at the present time. The shots on goal, 10-7 for Montreal. 2-0 the score for the Canadiens over the Leafs. At the end of one, now down to Dick.
Thank you, Danny. The Canadiens did their scoring early in that first period. Larry Robinson on a power play, followed by a goal by Guy Lafleur, and that has given Montreal the 2-0 lead. And as Danny just mentioned, Bill Barber, the second goal for Philadelphia, but they have fallen way behind at the Boston Garden in the second period. 5-2, Bruins leading. And later in the intermission, Don Marshall will have some of the scoring highlights from that game. In just a moment, the old-timers will be along. The finals of the old-timers competition in Showdown 78. And so the score here at the end of the first period, the Montreal Canadiens 2, the Toronto Maple Leafs 0.
What's it take to brew a great light beer? Had one yet?
Hey there with that booming shop.
Grow with us.
Hey there making that big stop. Grow with us.
Scotiabank Hockey College, where kids get playing tips and news from the experts and learn the good things about saving right now. No membership fee. Just open a high-interest Scotiabank Hockey College savings account. Hockey College, only at Scotiabank.
Come to Scotiabank and grow with us. Grow with us. Grow with us. Grow with us.
In our first old-timers matchup, Andy Bathgate out-dueled Dickie Moore and defeated him 15-10. And when Rocket Richard came back, he showed he could still score goals. But it was this goal by George Armstrong that won it for him over Rocket Richard. And it put Johnny Bauer in the goaltending final. So tonight, it's Andy Bathgate meeting George Armstrong with Bauer in goal on Showdown 78. Brought to you by Canadian Pacific. Well,
Well, Andy Bathgate won the toss. He selected the target shooting event first. That means 10 shots at 4 targets, a shot every 2.5 seconds. Let's hear what Andy has to say about it.
Well, in the last showdown series, I had good luck against Dickie Moore with shooting the puck, so I'm going to go with that again tonight because I don't think George can break the things even if he does hit them.
I'll tell you what, that Army can shoot the puck. He's right on the target most of the time, and he'll break the odd one. Oh, gee, off the end of his stick. Lost a chance to break one. Just not getting it up enough.
Oh, almost lost another one there.
There, he got one. Now you need that one.
Come on, Andy. He got
high.
He got 2 in his earlier matchup. And that's it. He gets 1 out of 10. Not very good.
But kept going
well,
too
I bet
high.
the Chief does better.
Well, he should. 1 out of 10 targets from that distance.
Now watch, Andy doesn't roll the wrist here, and the puck went off the toe of his stick. When you roll the wrist, the toe comes in, and the puck can't go off it.
Now it's George Armstrong's turn. There's the first target staring right at him.
Brian, I can't understand. He played 15 years in the National Hockey League, scored all kinds of goals, and look, he hit the first one, but he could never put the puck in along the ice. He's deadly up high. How come he chose those 2?
Well, he got 1, and now he's looking for 2.
Struggling. Come on.
All around it.
I know what he's saying to himself.
There, he finally got it.
Oh, Sweat, look at that upstairs.
He's got the range now. 4 for 4. Hey, that's great.
Had 1 left over.
4 targets and 9 shots. Army wins this one easily.
You come out of there, you're worried more about the other puck.
We'll be right back.
What's diversified mean, Harry? It means into a lot of things, Ralph. Canadian Pacific is a very diversified company. They're into mining, oil and gas, forest products, steel, real estate. They're diversified, Ralph, but under different names.
So who knows? They should call them CP Mine, CP Steel, CP Oil and Gas, CP Forest Products.
At Canadian Pacific, we believe what we do is important to you.
Well, Howie, George Armstrong won the toss. He's chosen the race event. He must think there's a lot of good mileage in those old legs yet.
I don't know, that Bathgate could fly. I can't understand George taking this race.
Pretty close so far. Maybe Andy with a very slight lead. Hard to tell.
Gee whiz, that's tied. Oh, look at that Bathgate go through that open area. George is taking the pylons better, though.
Here comes the
finish. Look at this.
Oh, I can't tell. I can't tell who won that. Can you?
Not at all.
Close, wasn't it?
Although George just might have because he really cut the pylons.
How close was that, George? I don't know.
They're going to need a photo finish, same as us. Here it is. Who won it?
We'll know in just a second or 2.
Oh, look at Andy. Went real wide in that pylon. Army in the photo finish wins it. He'll pick up 5 points. There's Johnny Bauer getting ready, and here's Brian with Chico Resch.
And Chico, you've seen these old fellows in action. What do you think of this young old fellow in the nets, Johnny Bauer?
Well, Brian, I just like to say I hope I can play as well as he does at age 39.
Yes, you're very generous. Now, how will Johnny play these guys? What will they try to do against him?
Well, the one thing I don't think they should try and do is deke Johnny. If you remember, he was probably the master at poke checking. And I think they'll probably try and shoot, probably high if they can. But I see they're having a little trouble getting the puck up in the high corner, so it should be interesting.
Gets heavier every year. Let's watch the action then.
I have to agree. You can't deke that Johnny Bauer. I coached in Pittsburgh a couple of years, and he was with Cleveland. He beat my club all the time.
Here comes George Armstrong, leading 10-0.
Right off the post.
Remember, Howie, in this event, every goal is worth 5 points, so Andy Bathgate could make a comeback, and he's up next.
Same old story, yeah. That Bauer's got everything going for him.
Well, 10 years roommates, you know. He knows what I'm doing, Andy.
All right.
They had a lot of fun together as roommates. Bauer looks so small in that goal.
Watch how compact he is when he attacks the puck carrier. There's not too many holes through him. You have to put it by him. Oh, and he did there. Excellent shot.
There's 5 points for Andy Bathgate.
It's 10-5.
Bauer hates to give up goals.
I think that's what made him so great, is just tremendous competitive spirit.
Even in practice, Howie, he just got so annoyed when a puck went by him.
Oh, how about that? How about that? Johnny says, don't go.
He's right. 2 shots. He scored on the rebound. They're not going to count that one.
Count 2 shots. You see him get that leg out?
2 shots to 1.
Super stand-up goaltender, Johnny Bauer.
So far, they haven't tried to deke him.
They haven't had too much luck trying to shoot it by him either.
Here comes Andy.
Great save. How about that left leg
Oh, right
save?
off the pad. You know, Howie Bathgate plays about 40 games a year with the NHL old-timers, and Army as a coach gets on the ice a lot. They're in shape.
Look at that, Johnny. Just like sheet hanging on the clothesline. He says, hey, stopping these guys just the same as picking cherries. No problem.
Army starts his wind-up about 8 miles away. A goal here can win it for him, Howie.
Oh, there's the stick check. Super save.
Wasn't that pretty? Johnny Bauer, who's done it so often in the past against Armstrong, stops him with the stick.
Army went behind him and gave him a tap of the rear end. Said, you lucky so-and-so. And Johnny says, look. No way, that's talent.
Andy's probably thinking, I guess I won't try that.
Well, Andy needs one here to tie it. Oh, picks the corner. Put it right in.
It's tied, and we've got overtime. Don't go away.
You got lucky again, George.
Nothing to it.
At Canadian Pacific, we look at our work in real estate development as something special. We build homes, offices, warehouses, factories, shopping centers, even air cargo terminals. But at Canadian Pacific, we know everything we build has to be used by people to live, to work, to shop, to enjoy themselves. And when you look at real estate this way, there's a lot more to it than just bricks and mortar. There's you and me. At Canadian Pacific, we believe what we do is important to you.
Lunchtime, Harry.
Okay, Arnold.
Harry, who owns Canadian Pacific?
Well, Canadians do.
Just ordinary guys?
All kinds of people, Arnold. Men, women. The majority are Canadians.
I could, too.
Of course.
Maybe we could call it Canadian Pacific and Partners.
At Canadian Pacific, we believe what we are is important to you.
Well, Howie, here we go to overtime, and the winner here will earn $2,500.
That Johnny Bauer's been a little rough in his old roomie, hasn't he?
He sure has. Here's George Armstrong up first. Again, starting downtown.
Oh, super right leg save. Hey, there was lots of room there, too.
So it's up to Andy Bathgate now as Armstrong fails to score on the first overtime shot. Here's where Andy could win it.
This guy here in his NHL career has been in many a situation like this. Lots of pressure.
Wonder if he'll deke him.
No, shot it by him. Got a winner.
Andy Bathgate, the overtime winner in the old-timer section. And he collects $2,500. Congratulations all around.
Yeah, but I don't know. How come you get lucky every
Here
time?
comes Bauer. I'll be surprised if his old roommate is even speaking to him after that showing tonight. Our next feature is Lanny McDonald meeting Gilbert Perreault in the semifinals. Rogie Vachon goal on Showdown 78. Brought to you by Canadian Pacific.
In an audio market flooded by exotic names, there's still a familiar one.
Good morning, world. It's going to be a beauty today.
A little dancing, a little romancing.
Hey, coming at you, another blast from the past.
Ms. Jones, further to our meeting with...
All right, Joe, that's the latest. Charlie 822, this is Baker 701. Come in, please, over.
The familiar name, General Electric, for reliable quality audio products. Canadian General Electric, working to give you your money's worth.
Disco Fever, featuring Miko and Star Wars. Tavares.
Must be missing an angel.
Donna Summer. In the stores now. 2 record sets, $6.99. Tape cassette, $7.99. Keep your Saturday Night Fever alive all week long with Disco Fever. Fever, 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 fever.
CBC covers the Commonwealth Games August 3rd to August 12th.
After one period here at the Montreal Forum, the Canadians lead the Toronto Maple Leafs 2-0, while in Boston now in the second period, it's 5-3. The Bruins over Philadelphia. Don Marshall here with the highlights from the Boston Garden. Have the defensemen gone on strike down there?
It's not the defenseman, Dick. As an old forward, I have to say that forwards are superior tonight.
All right.
But we have a lot of goals. We have a lot of goals to score. There were 3 power play goals scored, and the first one here is by Bobby Schmotz. Bladen is going to try and clear the puck out of the end zone. Schmotz and Selesky more or less trap it on the boards, and Schmotz makes a good play to get away from Selesky, moves in. His shot is going to be low and probably between Perron's legs. Not the greatest goal for Perron, but I would say that he would be partially screened on the shot there.
Rick Middleton scored. He got the overtime winner 2 nights ago, and he made it 2-0 for Boston.
Really a good individual effort and a good clearing pass from Rattel. And watch the shift he puts on Rick LaPointe. Shifts him in, moves that, and the shot is low on the ice and right on the corner. Not too much chance for Perron. He had come out to cut down the angle somewhat, but just couldn't control it completely.
Wayne Cashman's had a pretty good season for Boston, Danny. He made it 3-0.
Watch this goal. Park's going to take the shot. Cashman is in front of the net here. He's trying to screen the goaler. No, that's the rebound. It's going to go out to Shepard. Came in later. Shepard's going to shoot. Cashman is where he is all the time, right on the crease. Got the puck, the stick up on the puck, and he's got himself a goal. Made it 3-1, and that was a power play goal as well. The next goal, Philadelphia. Cutley scored 3-1, excuse me, and it's a power play goal by Kinderchuk. The puck is going to go to Daly, over to Kinderchuk. His shot is deflected slightly by Marcotte, who comes across, and it looks as if Cheevers should get it because the puck's not moving too fast, but he's lost his stick. I think with the stick in the hand, he's going to control it, quite well and have no trouble. And the next goal is going to be by Rattel. A fine goal. This is Middleton. He kept the puck in. Good effort there. And he's just going to shovel the puck ahead a little bit to Rattel. And watch Rattel. He uses Cashman. He's at the top of your screen as a decoy. DuPont really can't go at him. Rattel pulls it across and holds it up high, fires it by Bernie Perron. A good goal by a good hockey player.
Don, obviously, from what you told us on Tuesday night, and again from what's happening tonight, Rattel with 4 points, he is playing super hockey.
He's playing good hockey. He's like the John Rattel of old. Very unnoticeable on the ice, but when the puck is around him, he knows what to do.
Okay, Don, thank you very much. Don will be back during the second intermission with more highlights from the Boston Garden. Now back upstairs to the broadcast booth and Danny Gallup.
Montreal 2, Toronto Maple Leafs no score. There we are. You can wave, Bill. They would see you in Atlanta. In Thurso, they'll see you, but your parents are down below here, aren't they?
They sure are. How about Levac, Ontario? Will they see us
We
there?
had a call. Levac is northwest of Sudbury. You and I are going to enroll in a class on Canadian geography.
Fine, and I'll wave at the people in Levac.
Okay, the Toronto Maple Leafs are shorthanded. Williams with 19 seconds. Here's Lafleur faking the shot in over the line. He lost it. It's kept in there. Régin Houle. Oh, his pass back to the point to Lafleur was shoulder high. It goes down the ice. On the power play for the Montreal Canadiens, we have Shutt, Lemaire, Lafleur, Lapointe, and Régin Houle has it into the center ice area. Jones is after him. Here's Houle up on the right side to Shutt across the line. He was jammed out of the play by Glennie, and Jones knocked it back to center. 45 seconds left in the penalty. Back to Lemaire. Over it goes to Shutt. He gives it to Lafleur. He flipped it. It's off the leg. And the Leafs clear it down the ice with Turnbull shooting it to the corner. Exactly a half minute left in the penalty, and the Canadians are making changes, and they start out led by Lapointe. A wave of 5 Canadians to the line. In on the boards it goes to the far side. Turnbull comes up with it, and he knocked it into the center ice area. Ferguson. Lafleur knocked it back into the center ice area, and Ferguson is back there for Toronto, and back it goes into Canadiens territory, and now Williams is back on. So the Toronto Maple Leafs survived very well there. Here's Lambert coming in, and he slashes the shot off Carlisle over the glass. Bill Clement, we haven't mentioned tonight, but the very fact that Salming is not playing for the Toronto Maple Leafs in a series such as this against the Canadiens means a lot to the Toronto cause, because that man knows how to control a hockey game to a degree.
Well, how much does any all-star defenseman mean to his team? Borje Salming, along with Daryl Sittler, he was a general along with Daryl Sittler this year for that Toronto team, and he organized so many plays coming out of their own end that, let's face it, he is a great loss, and they are missing him, especially against a team like Montreal, because he is so quick he can evade some of those forecheckers as they flow in across the blue line trying to trap him in behind his net. He's very quick and moves the puck so well.
And they, of course, miss him greatly on the power play.
Definitely.
So Philadelphia has scored again. It's 5-3 in Boston for Boston. Robinson takes a shot off Sittler's stick. Now Chartrand clearing it in, but his stick was above the shoulder making contact, and the play is stopped. From the Forum of Montreal, this is Stanley Cup 78.
What are you gonna do?
Well, we told our wife.
You mean work on the boat? We've got all kinds of time. The water.
Oh, we gotta do it now. It'll be gone by the weekend.
Bet?
Yeah.
Loser buys the X.
Okay.
Such a mark.
For years, Roger and the boys have talked about working on the old
Why
boats
don't we do it tomorrow?
and had second thoughts over a little Molson Export Ale.
Boat in the water before this clown's got the deck sanded.
Molson Export Ale. It keeps on tasting great.
Those were the shots on goal, 10 for Montreal and 7 for Toronto at the end of the first period. We have had nothing to record in shots on goal after 1 minute and 45 seconds into the second period. Face-off area that you're looking at right now is just outside the Toronto Maple Leafs blue line. That third goal for Philadelphia was scored by McLeish, and it came well into the second period. So it's 5-3 Boston. There's a long flip shot by Savard. Gainey bumped Lenny. Here's McDonald. High pass knocked down at center by Sittler. Sittler winds up, fakes the shot, tried to drop it back, and Chartrand in on the boards with Turnbull. And the play is stopped for a face-off in Canadiens territory. I'd like to pass along congratulations on the occasion of the 25th wedding anniversary, Mr. and Mrs. Ron Andrews. How about that, Dick? No, 21st. 21st, right. Did I say 25th? I don't know. I don't like to hurry it, Ron, but I'm glad that Dick corrected me. If I say 25. Down the ice it goes. Glennie shooting it ahead. Canadians breaking it up. Chartrand rolled it back in. There's Carlisle off the board. Robinson on it. Over it goes, and Jarvis is offside on the play.
You know, we spoke of Salming's absence. In the same breath, we should also mention the great job that Ian Turnbull has done in picking up the slack that the absence of Borje Salming has created. He's done a tremendous job and is leading the playoffs in scoring.
Well, I think Dick mentioned earlier, midway through the first period, that Turnbull is playing without doubt the finest hockey of his career.
Definitely.
There's McDonald, being watched closely by Uhl. Uhl stopped the pass. Gainey dropping it back. Here's Robinson losing it, and Turnbull dashes to center. He's checked by Uhl. Savard over to Robinson, up on the left side to Gainey, and tip pass to Jarvis. Jarvis to the Toronto line, shooting it in, and Gainey apparently had got over the line.
Well, as Bob Gainey and his line mates head to the bench, a 2-0 lead for the Canadians. And Bill Clement, that shooting gallery continues at the Boston Garden. 5-3 now. The Bruins leading Philadelphia. At least it was when I left downstairs. I don't know if it's changed on the way up.
It could have changed, and you really can't count the Philadelphia Flyers out. Their style of play, you never know. They could come back.
Be a bit prejudiced, would you?
I don't think so.
Johansson clearing it to center. Lapointe over on the far side. Nyrop ahead for shot. It's rolled into the Toronto zone. Alec is on the ice now. It goes to shot. Back to Nyrop. There's the shot. And Palmatier had no difficulty with that, but he found himself nose to nose with Lemaire looking for a rebound.
And a little bit of medical attention being paid to Bob Gainey over in the Canadiens bench. Danny, a far cry here tonight as far as the shots on goal are concerned. Montreal had 21 in the first period Tuesday. And here they are with 11 to this point tonight.
A shot by Nyrop. It's 2-0 for the Canadiens in the second period. Toronto starting out. Here is Boutet over the line. Boutet rolls it into the corner for Butler. Is chopped away by Lafleur. He cleared it over the glass.
Well, Team Canada 78 under a little bit of pressure over in Prague right now after losing 5-0 today to Czechoslovakia. A reminder here to join Fred Scambatti, Billy Harris, and Jerry Fogarty for CBC Radio's live coverage of the World Hockey Championship game. Canada against Sweden Saturday afternoon. Starts at 2:30 Eastern Daylight Time.
Well, I have 5 teammates over there playing for that team.
That's right.
Team, and certainly wish them well, but they're going to have their hands full. They have games with Sweden and the USSR remaining, and they have to finish in those top 4 teams to get into that final session. Certainly hope they do it.
Now the Leafs, everybody up. It's picked up by Lafleur. He whipped it to the far side, shot after it. Falling is Johansson. Judd has it over to Robinson, and he was checked neatly by Jones. Out it comes into the center right area, gobbled up again by Lafleur. Every time a Leaf moves, there seems to be a Canadian on top of him. Now it's Lemaire shooting it into the corner. Along the boards it goes. Finally, Pelly gets rid of it. Down the ice, and it's going to be icing against the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Tonight's Stanley Cup playoff game is coming to you from the Montreal Forum.
I've learned a lot working with a pro like Jack. You got a lot of great shots tonight.
The secret is be ready.
The right camera?
And the right batteries. Alkaline power cells from Ever-Ready.
Good, eh?
Professional.
I've tried a lot of different batteries, but these batteries never let me down.
You're ready with Ever-Ready.
You're learning.
Get ready. Get long-lasting alkaline power cells from Ever-Ready. Trust the professionals.
Well, as we look at Scotty Bowman, a reminder to Bill Clement and all the rest of you Philadelphia Flyer fans, don't go away. Bob Daly has scored. It's now Boston 5, Flyers 4.
And it is 2-0 here for Montreal over Toronto. Carlisle tying up Lambert. Here's Ellis on the right side. He's checked by Mondeau. Mondeau has it. Good move. Passed into the corner. And Maloney is there to pick it up for Toronto. Ellis on the right side has to contend with Mondeau. Leafs having difficulty getting out of their own zone. And again, the play is stopped.
Well, you spoke, Danny, of me perhaps being a little prejudiced in favor of the Philadelphia Flyers. I don't think I'm prejudiced, but believe me, I have a tremendous amount of respect for a lot of those players because I know what makes them tick. Players like Bobby Clark and Gary Dornhofer, and they work for everything that they achieve, and I do have a lot of respect for them. That doesn't mean when I hit the ice against them that I don't want to beat them.
Well, they won the Stanley Cup twice. Second time they wanted, you got a goal, didn't you?
Just one.
As the shot stopped on the short side. Oh, what a collision behind the net. Nyrop with Maloney going in after him. They really rattled each other with a resounding body blast as a result of Maloney going in to meet Nyrop. I guess you'd say he had his head down.
Well, Bill Nyrop seems to be shaking it off. Bill, that's the best check that the Leafs have thrown, I think, in the 2 games so far. Here it comes right here.
Ooh. I can tell you what they were both saying when they were getting up, and that was, ouch.
Both of them.
Yes.
We are 12 seconds away from the 5th-minute mark into the second period. 2-0 for Montreal. Carlisle over to Maloney. He ripped it into the corner. There's Ellis bumping with Nyrop. And that Ellis looked like a fairly sturdy young man on that exchange with Nyrop. Cournoyer getting clear of it. Here's Mondeau over the line. Mondeau cutting in front. Oh, over. There's Cournoyer shooting it. Palmatier came out. Then it came back over Lambert's stick. And on the third effort, the Canadians were stymied easily by Palmatier. Now it's McDonald taking a shot, and he ripped it a good 6 feet wide. Carlisle laid it back in. Lambert ahead for Cournoyer. And it is Glennie back there, and it is icing against the Canadians.
Well, that much-discussed Leaf game plan, Bill Clement, of using the body against the Canadians, finally began to appear there in that last shift. Here's the chance for Mondu. Yvon Lambert coming up the slot was just a little too far away when the rebound came out off Palmatier.
Well, Mondu looks like he's headed for a brilliant career in the National Hockey League. He seems to have the earmark of a great professional.
Palmatier with a great move to knock the puck away from Mondu, but he was way out of position. But fortunately for the Leafs, the Canadians weren't in position to gather in that rebound.
We've had a minimal number of shots in this hockey game, a total of 19 after 25 minutes and 39 seconds of hockey. I think my computation is right, 25-39. 5 minutes, 39 in this period, 20 in the first. That's right. Now Johansson going in, fake the shot, to the center, right of the he scores!
Now when you're hot, and Ian Turnbull playing as a forward in this second period, and he puts the Maple Leafs on the board. And Bill, that last shift, as we mentioned, continuing here, the Leafs, for the first time in the series, began to take the play to the Canadians and stay on top of them.
Exactly right, Dick. Let's not count them out. And Roger Nielsen take advantage of his hottest player at this stage, has put Turnbull on the left side. Beautiful play by Daryl Sidler, and actually all he has to do is shovel it in, but he nevertheless was there.
I thought it was a great play by Johansson. Right here, he faked the shot and got the puck past Larry Robinson.
For a semifinal game and a 21-year-old participating, it was an excellent play.
So it is 2-1. The Leafs come back. They cleared into Canadian territory. There's Sittler after Savard. Savard having difficulty. Now he gets some skating room. Ahead it goes into the center ice area. Oh, Jarvis is melted by Johansson. They're beginning to lay the muscle on. That was a great shot. There's Jarvis going after Pelly. All he did was bounce off Pelly. Here's Gainey. Gainey into the corner to Jarvis. Jarvis trying to get it in front. He takes the shot. Robinson. Robinson getting set, twisting and turning, trying to center it. Robinson still has it right out in front. It comes from Jarvis, and the Leafs into the center ice area. There's McDonald cutting in on the right side. McDonald going in, and he was tied up. Gainey was trying to get a gun with it. Let's see. There's a hooking. Was that Gainey?
Gainey it is, heading to the penalty box. This Stanley Cup 78 game coming to you from the Montreal Forum.
Producing 15,000 miles. 15,000 miles between oil. Test, cars with new STP motor oil were run to simulate stop-and-go and highway driving. After 15,000 miles, each engine was pulled and inspected. The results, clean parts and virtually no wear. Protection for 15,000 miles. New STP motor oil. That's extra protection.
At participating outlets of these stores.
Bounce back. Lanny McDonald had a stride on Bob Gainey down the right side. Gainey hooked McDonald to the ice, so Toronto, with the goal by Turnbull, turning things around a little bit here territorially, now have a power play opportunity.
And a glorious opportunity for Toronto here to tie it up on the power play with Sittler and McDonald. Valley Cat, Pellick, and Turnbull. Now it's back to Pellick. Pellick takes a look, and the shot off Dryden's stick. Lemaire is up front with Jarvis, and Lemaire cleared it into the center ice area. Defending on the blue line for the Canadians, Lapointe and Savard. Now Ray Jean-Houle is on the ice, taking over from Jarvis. Over to Savard, he shoots it down the ice. And the Leafs go back there to organize their power play. And Toronto has moved within one shot of the Canadians. Canadians leading 11-10 in shots. Now Turnbull gets it over on the left side to Pellick. Pellick being watched closely. Leafs moving around, trying to get some skating room. Now Sittler hands it off to Pellick. Pellick shoots it into the corner, racing in. Valiquette behind the net. Savard clearing it up on the left side. Lemaire ahead to Ray Jean-Houle. Here's Houle getting in, takes the shot. Good defensive play by Pellick. He was in line of that shot from the stick of Ray Jean-Houle. Here's Sittler, a good move over to the right side. Sittler flipped it at Turnbull getting set, fired, and that gave Dryden trouble. Oh, this Turnbull is a threat every time. He rushes with that puck or gets it past at the Canadiens' line. Now the Leafs again. Here's Sittler fading to the left side. Back in through center. And it's cleared down the ice by Lemaire. 27 seconds left in the penalty to Gainey. Lanny McDonald gives it to Turnbull. The big guns for the Leafs. Sittler down there too. Over to Sittler. Back to Turnbull. Getting set. Fired in, and he fired away.
It's a 2-2 tie. The Canadiens were actually playing 2 men short because Doug Risebrough had lost his stick in the Toronto zone, and by the time he picked it up, he wasn't involved in the play at all, so they had a 2-man advantage, and they made good use of it.
They sure did. Once again, the key figure, Daryl Sittler, passing the puck out to Dan Maloney, standing all alone in front. Sittler is the closest thing, along with Bobby Clark, as far as I'm concerned, to being complete hockey players.
You can see Risebrough way up the ice in this picture from back of the net. He is not involved in the play at all. Sittler out in front, and Dryden got the leg over Bill in time, but he got it over a little too far, perhaps. And the puck went underneath his leg. It's a tie hockey game.
When you're that tall, Dick, and you get that leg over, it leaves an awful hole between your legs, and that's just where Dan Maloney put it. There must have been a 5-foot space between his feet.
And number 2 is Turnbull at 8 minutes, 35 seconds.
Oh, they're back to square one, Danny. It's a tie game.
Well, the action has picked up very noticeably since that first Toronto goal. It is now tied at 2. Here's Lemaire hitting the line, winding up, and that shot goes off Carlisle. And a souvenir for somebody in the second section of the south end of the Forum.
Nice catch, too.
Very good catch.
It looked like one of the Expos here at the game tonight.
Do you play baseball in the off-season?
I even did last summer, yes, right up until last summer. I don't think I'll have time this off-season.
Well, the way the Atlanta Braves are going, you might be getting a regular job with them. Do you go to the ball games down there?
Every once in a while I do, yes.
Well, right now we have a tie hockey game. Face-off outside the Leafs line. There's that pretty little fellow number 16, Jones, waved out of the face-off. Boutet takes it. He's up front with Butler. For the Canadiens, we have Schutt, Lemaire, and Lafleur. Schutt went sprawling in the corner. Here's Jones on the left side to Boutet. Boutet puts on the brakes. Over it goes to Butler. He fired it. Rebound, other shot. And Dryden had to come up with 2 enormous saves to keep it a tie hockey game. And it's great action right here after a lot of slow hockey. Now it's cleared down on the left wing. LaPointe flicked it in there. Carlisle up on the left side. The pass off Boutet's glove. And LaPointe fired it ahead. LaFleur's over the line trying to get through there. Carlisle coming back for Toronto. On the left side, he shoots it in. And the Leafs select to make changes. Canadians starting out. Lambert was stopped. It came in. It was touched by Boutet. That's offside.
With the score, Toronto 2, Montreal 2. This is Stanley Cup 78.
I should have got another sports car, huh?
Yeah, sports car, Brendan. Imagine the size of that thing after a sports car. The seats and the dash. You know, for your next car, you should get 4 doors. Dark, get a pinstripe car. You made the right choice.
You made an executive decision, fella.
For years, Brendan and the boys have been talking cars over a little Molson Export Ale.
Oh, I'm not getting old.
Why else is he getting old? Bernie, he is not getting old. He's getting, what would you call it? He's getting,
mature. You're getting mature.
It keeps on tasting great.
Semi-final, Maple Leaf Gardens, Toronto. Hockey Night in Canada on the air, 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time.
It is the 2-2 hockey game. Here's Robinson winding up. High shot, the rebound. Now Maloney gets rid of it. Down the ice it goes. Robinson striding back. He's being watched by number 14, Weir. Moving in, forechecking for the Leafs also, Ronnie Ellis. Now Robinson coming out the lead pass. And Lafleur couldn't pick it up. Back into the corner is Pelly. Toronto turning. Pass goes to the far right side. Ellis couldn't pick it up and hit Armstrong, the linesman. They jam in on the boards. And Ray Jean took a couple of soft pecks at the back of the neck of Weir.
Good goal by Dan Maloney, which tied the game 2-2. That's his first Stanley Cup playoff goal. This is his 29th playoff game. And it marked the first Toronto power play goal against Montreal this season. Through 5 regular season games, plus the first game of this series on Tuesday night.
And the Toronto Maple Leafs have taken the lead in shots on goal. They are out shooting Montreal 14-11 in the hockey game with 9:26 left in the second period. Score tied at 2. There is an offside at the line.
Danny, it's like a holiday for Mike Palmateer this period compared to what he went through most of the first 4 periods of this series.
One shot, is that what he has recorded?
That last exchange at the Montreal line.
Now Bondu working in on the right side, puts on the brakes. Bondu getting set. Over to Robertson, closing in, takes the shot, the rebound, and it's batted away by Glennie. That was a blistering blast by Robinson. Palmateer blocked it, and then the rebound was cleared by Glennie. Here's Bondu, getting it out in front, and it almost went in off Carlisle's stick. Carlisle taken into the corner by Uhl. Now the Leafs starting out on the left side. Here is Boutat. Boutat fired it in, a long one for Dryden. On the other side, Bondu ahead to Lafleur. Lafleur coming down with Bouchard. There's the shot. That one off at a rather oblique angle. Bouchard coming up. He was the left winger when he came onto the ice. He's out there as a forward now with Jarvis, and they'll put somebody else out there.
Mentioning the Toronto power play goal, their first this season against Montreal, it was their 22nd chance at a power play against the Canadiens, and they finally cashed in. Mr. Frank Selke Sr. looking on from his regular spot down to our left in the south end of the Montreal Forum.
And I think, I'm going out on the limb here, but I think the 7th of May, he will have his birthday, 85 years of age. What an amazingly active man he is.
Danny, we missed an anniversary of sorts on Tuesday, May 2nd. That was the date these teams last played in Stanley Cup action. The night that the Leafs defeated the Canadiens to win the Cup in 1967 was May 2nd. And exactly 11 years later, they met again.
So we are ready for the face-off to the left of Palmateer. Harold Ballard, King Clancy. Big 1-2 punch of the Leafs. Here's Chartrand trying to work it in. Now Maloney ahead to McDonald. Bad pass behind him. Bouchard clears it in. And he races in. The big fella to do some forward checking along with Chartrand and Jarvis. And that was a glove pass. And you know, Dick, one night, Bowman put this line together. Bouchard, Jarvis, and Chartrand, a most unlikely scoring line. What, they get 4 goals that night?
Against Boston, I believe it was. Last Boston
game? Yes, I believe it was. Bouchard had 2.
That's right.
It's pretty tough to dispute the fact that there's a lot of muscle on both sides of Doug Jarvis there.
Well, speaking of muscle, Kurt Walker has now come off the Leaf bench to take over on the right side for Lanny McDonald. And now with Walker on, Scotty Bowman, who gets the last change, does what he did the other night. Sends out Shutt, Lafleur, and Lemaire. So the wheels are turning back at the benches. This is the first time that Scotty has ever coached against Toronto in the playoffs.
So I think the wheels are turning in the direction of a lot of hitting eventually in this series. You might even have it here tonight.
It may be pointing to that. What's happening now is Kurt Walker has trouble with his equipment, and Brian Lewis won't let him go to the bench to repair it, so he had to do it himself on the ice.
Now he's gone.
Johansson shooting it down. And it is icing against Toronto, 8:02. Just a reminder here that Winnipeg's annual YMHA Sportsman's Dinner will be held on May the 15th as we look at the Toronto bench. They're not going to hold it while the Toronto bench is making changes, but it's May 15th. Sugar Ray Robinson, he'll be the guest speaker. And Don Chevrier will be the MC. There is the shot of Dick Williams, is it?
Right. He's got his team in first place.
Right in front, there's a shot by Shutt. Nairov shoots it, another shot. Oh, what brilliant goaltending by Palmateer. 3 big saves.
Well, he had to come up with the big ones. Bill, the Canadiens controlled it right off the faceoff that time.
Once again, Mike Palmateer is the man of the hour. On the shot by Nairov, he was unable to control the rebound, but unfortunately for Jacques Lemaire, here's the shot by Naireb coming at Palmetier. He makes the original saves, unable to control it, but look at that bouncing puck. And if you don't think those are tough to control, Jacques Lemaire just wondered. It could have gone in any direction. Unfortunately, it hit Palmetier.
Carlisle whips it to the far side. Canadians keeping it in. A backhand shot by Lafleur around the net. His shot getting it back to Lapointe. Here's Lapointe shot blocked. Naireb over to Lafleur. A shot. Canadians exerting pressure here. In behind the net. Lemaire against Carlisle. They jam it on the board. Carlisle would like to get a whistle, then he clears it to the far side. Naireb returning it. Carlisle. Now it's Lafleur getting it back. Lapointe takes a look, moves to the right, into the corner, back to Lemaire. Weak shot to the side of the net. Now, here's Boutet trying to get out. Finally, he cleared it through center down into the Canadian zone. Naireb handing it off to Lapointe. Lapointe on the right side, firing it in. Lemaire and Cournoyer was down on the ice to win for Montreal. However, Boutet starts out, he gives it to Butler. Butler at the line. There's the shot, eye high. Driving to Robinson, wheeling away, down through center to the Toronto line. Robinson cutting in and broken up at the last split second by Carlisle. Now Savard trying to set up Cournoyer. Lambert going in against Lenny. It's centered. And to the far side, Carlisle to Weir. Over to Ellis. It's called on the offside.
This Stanley Cup playoff game is coming to you from the Forum in Montreal.
Born to challenge the competition, Z7 took on our tough test tracks. New Zephyr Z7 from Lincoln Mercury. Now Z7 will take on the world with rack and pinion steering, wide mount strut suspension, front discs, and Z7 is energy engineered for space and mileage with a very competitive price. New Zephyr Z7, born to challenge.
In the second intermission, Bill Clement will join me to rate the centerman in this particular series. We'll have our annual Hockey Night in Canada playoff quiz, and Don Marshall with the Boston-Philadelphia highlights.
Now it's 5-5 in Boston. Clark has scored for Philadelphia. Robinson ahead, it goes to Risebrough. Cournoyer, Risebrough shooting it. And it was to the short side. Lambert trying to jam it in. Very alertly. Palmetier goes down. Yes, he has the puck. Bill, this is turning into a pretty good hockey game.
Certainly is. Both goaltenders are probably going to be called upon to make spectacular saves before it's all over. I think Yvon Lambert may have been crushed here by Dan Maloney following this centering pass. See if we can see a good hit right by the side of the net when Lambert tries to step out with it. Here he comes with the puck. Whammo. Ouch again.
Been more Canadians on the ice in the last 6 or 7 minutes than there were up to that point in the first game and through in this one. There's another look at that solid check. Maloney landed on Lambert. At the same time, young Palmetier making a good stop on the short side.
On the face-off, Lambert taken in on the boards by Carlisle. Risebrough upended, a penalty. Coming up, Ferguson. There it is, right in from the net. A backhand shot. Another shot. It's cleared. And finally, the whistle goes. Ferguson. Was it Ferguson?
Yes, it was. Ferguson and Risebrough. You know what? The Leafs have started to lay on the body. And Bill, I think a leader in that respect for Toronto has been Randy Carlisle.
I really think so. Dan and I talked about Randy Carlisle. He plays with enthusiasm. He's an aggressive player, and he likes to throw the body around out there. He tried to lead the way, and with help from Jerry Butler, they're starting to take over. But it's a lot easier to do this when they're tied 2-2 than it is when you're trailing the Montreal Canadiens.
Toronto's penalty number 10, George Ferguson, 2 minutes for hooking at 14 minutes, 11 seconds.
So the Canadians, who had been outscored 2-0 by the Maple Leafs in the second period, now get a power play chance. Shots on goal overall favor Montreal 17-15. There's the score at the top of your screen, left-hand corner. The Flyers have come from way back. They were down 4-1 in the first period in Boston, and the game is now tied 5-5 in the third.
Coaches the other night said the only players who played well were the goaltenders. Tonight they'll say the only players who played well were the forwards, the goalies there. don't know whether they've vacated Boston Garden or not.
They take turns, I think.
On the power play, Canadians. Here's Lapointe. Over on the other side, Lafleur whipped it. And it hit Johansson. He was spun around. And the referee was looking at that carefully. Now Lapointe, a shot off the leg. Robinson in the corner against Turnbull. Now here's Lemaire digging into the corner, getting in front, takes the shot, blocked on the short side by Paul Matier. Lapointe failed to clear it in and went off Jones back into the center ice area. Lapointe up on the right side, swept off a stick by Turnbull. We have Jones, Butler, Johansson, and Turnbull defending for Toronto. Shot Lafleur, Lemaire, Robinson, and Lapointe on the power play for the Canadians. Here is Shutt. Shutt getting set. Shoots, and he whipped the shot just wide. Robinson playing it back to Lafleur. Lafleur takes a look. Right in front of Cubs. There's a shot. Crawling save by Palmier. Another shot. Blocked that time by Turnbull. Another shot. And Lemaire will miss the open side. Robinson getting it in to Shutt. Back to Robinson. Robinson takes a look. Over it goes to Lapointe. He gives it to Lapointe. He scores!
Tremendous pressure by the Canadians. Bill, while they threw the puck around, I think the big thing that really amazes me in this is the angle that Lafleur was at and the way he found the corner of the net.
Not only the angle, Dick, but you'd have to have a pretty sophisticated stopwatch to measure the amount of time it took Guy to get that shot away. He had to change his direction completely, cradled the puck and turned around, and in a split second, just deposited it, just caught the post. Beautiful passing, and combined with Toronto's inability to clear the puck, put Guy Lafleur in a position like that, very dangerous.
I think Paul Matier was screened. I don't think Mike didn't move on the shot at all with Lemaire standing right there.
Well, I doubt that he could have done anything anyway, Dick. With Guy shooting it that hard from that distance, he set up properly and screened or otherwise. If Guy hits the spot from there, he scores.
Well, penalties playing a key role here in the second period. Lafleur with his second goal.
Scored by number 10, Guy Lafleur. Assist number 5, Guy Lapointe. And number 19, Larry Robinson. At 15 minutes, 32 seconds.
15:32, the time of the go-ahead goal. Lafleur from Robinson and Lapointe. Now it's Savard backtracking into the center ice area to Nyrop. Ahead it goes, and an obvious offside against the Montreal Canadiens.
Gentlemen, did I not hear you complaining about the lack of action earlier in this second period?
Well, at the time we were talking about the game being flat. Let's face it, it was flat. When they started to hit, then when the Toronto Maple Leafs got the first goal, let's see, what was the time of Toronto's first goal? At 5:47. From 5:47, or about the 5th minute mark, in the second period, it has been excellent action. Now here's Jarvis. Jarvis getting it back to Nyrop, a low shot wide. In on the boards, they fight for it. Out it comes to Sittler. Sittler is belted by Gainey. Lapointe having difficulty against Maloney, who went in rather deeply at the circle, and Jarvis fell down checking Maloney. Pass off Régin Ulstick. Gainey up on the left side. He feeds it into Toronto territory. That is the signal for Montreal to make changes while the play goes on, and Maloney gets it over to Sittler. Sittler hits the Montreal line. Sittler doing some tipsy-doodling, loses it. Here's Cournoyer. Cournoyer in on the line. Good defensive play by Little Johansson.
Live from the Montreal Forum, the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Hey there on that garden swing, grow with us. Hey there feeling like a king, grow with us.
At Scotiabank, when you turn 59, you can become a Scotia 59er. And that means unlimited checking, a savings account that gives you an interest bonus when the cost of living rises, commission-free traveler's checks, and much more. Be a Scotia 59er.
Come to Scotiabank and grow with us, grow with us, grow with us, grow with us.
And there's the story of the shots on goal. The Canadians have vaulted ahead again, 19-15. Montreal leading in the hockey game, 3-2. Over to Lemaire. Lemaire dropping it back to Schutt. Shot grabbed very coolly by Paul Matier. Johansson playing it on the right side, had to go over the glass. He looked like a veteran, a cool young man on that last play on Cournoyer, because Cournoyer has so many great moves, but the young fellow stood his ground. As Cournoyer went one way and he tried to get the puck to go the other way, whether he was able, Johansson was, you look at him there, to take the body. We'd have to see it again to see whether that was a possibility. But he stopped it. That's the main thing. Now back it goes to Robinson. There's the shot. Oh, that low drive just whistled wide. Boutet jammed in on the boards by Lambert. Here's Savard. Up it goes to Risebrough. Into the corner. Cournoyer is tied up by Turnbull. Now Robinson keeping it in. Here's Robinson to Cournoyer. Back to Lambert. The shot to the short side. Johansson twisting and turning. Clears it out into the center ice area. Cournoyer takes the pass offside. 2 minutes and 25 seconds remain in the second period. Scoring in the hockey game for the Toronto Maple Leafs, Turnbull and Maloney after the Canadians and gone ahead 2-0 on goals by Robinson and Lafleur. And Lafleur scoring a power play goal at 15:32, and here in the second period, his second of the night from Lapointe and Robinson to give Montreal the 3-2 lead. From the face-off, Lafleur to Robinson. Now on the right side, Savard dumped it in. Glennie behind the net, cleared it to the other side. Ellis gets rid of it out over the line. Robinson jammed into the boards by Jones and Ellis. And the play is stopped. 2 minutes and 10 seconds left in the second period. With that goal tonight, McLeish has a total of 7. And he leads all goal scorers in the playoffs with 7, right behind Cournoyer and Turnbull. And that's a tremendous accomplishment for Turnbull when you consider he is a defenseman. The other two players have been prolific scorers over their careers. A long one for Cournoyer, not so long to this point for McLeish. Now Robinson into the center ice area. Risebrough. Oh, Cournoyer in full flight was blasted with a solid belt by number 24 Glennie at the Toronto line. Now a pass for Maloney. It finds its way down the ice into Canadian territory. Robinson from in front of the net. Up for Lambert. A high, long pass. Down the ice it goes. And the time marches on in this second period. We are down to 1 minute and 37 seconds. And Dick, are you down there? Are you ready?
During the upcoming second intermission, Bill Clement will be joining me here in the studio. He's going to rate the centermen that are playing in this Montreal-Toronto series. We're going to have our annual Stanley Cup playoff quiz for you. And Donnie Marshall will bring us up to date with highlights on that wild one in Boston where the Flyers and the Bruins are tied 5-5 in the third period. Danny?
Face off to the right of Dryden. Incidentally, Turnbull leads all players with the number of points. He has 16. Now Gainey hooks it out into the center ice area. Johansson is after him. Gainey putting on the break. Gainey into the corner. Bumped by McDonald. To the far side. Ray-Jean cleared it in. Johansson back to the point. Savard stopped it. There's the shot. Picked up off Turnbull by Sittler. Ahead to McDonald over the line. McDonald is knocked to the ice by Savard. Leafs can't hold it in. They're back at center, led by Turnbull. He plays it to the left side. Lapointe has it coming in on the right side. Less than a minute left in the second period. Now Turnbull around the Leafs net. Off the boards, it gets by Lapointe. And Savard has to go down there at his own line to recover against McDonald. And the Canadians clear it in again. And again, they are making changes. The Leafs have executed changes. They have out on the ice now. Toronto has Valley Cat. Here's Turnbull racing to the line. Turnbull trying to get through there. Into the corner. He sent it right in front. And Sittler couldn't get a good shot against the point, who picked it up and shot it down the ice. Back for Carlisle. Here's Jarthrow with him. His pass blocked beautifully by Boutet. Turnbull takes a look at the clock. He gave it away. Robinson has it. His pass hopped over Rise for a stick. Now Turnbull playing it into the corner. The Leafs will hold on to it until the expiration of time. There's the end of the second period. And in that period, Toronto got 2 goals, and Montreal got 1. Montreal had 2 in the first, so that adds up to Montreal 3, and the Toronto Maple Leafs 2. And the shots on goal, 21-15 for Montreal over Toronto. And so the score again at the end of the second period, Montreal 3, Toronto 2.
You, Al, a Lotto Canada package.
There is only one North Star.
There is a gentleman here in Montreal by the name of John Miller, who every year at this time digs through some dusty film archives and comes up with the annual Hockey Night in Canada playoff quiz. I hope you have your pencils and papers ready, because here we are with the 1978 edition. Again for our annual Hockey Night in Canada Stanley Cup Playoff Quiz. Are you ready? Our first question concerns last year's Stanley Cup competition. Who scored the most playoff goals in 1977? Was it Lanny McDonald of the Toronto Maple Leafs? Bobby Schmotz of the Boston Bruins? Or Guy Lafleur of the Montreal Canadiens? The answer, Bobby Schmotz of the Bruins with 11 goals in 14 games. McDonald was next with 10 goals in 9 games. Can you name the last team to defeat the Montreal Canadiens in a Stanley Cup final series? Was it the Boston Bruins, the Philadelphia Flyers, or the Toronto Maple Leafs? The answer, the Toronto Maple Leafs, who defeated the Canadiens in the Stanley Cup final in 1967. This was George Armstrong's cup-clinching goal into an empty net in Game 6 at Maple Leaf Gardens. It marked the last time the Maple Leafs have been able to enjoy a scene like this. The Conn Smythe Trophy is an individual award, so be careful. What team is the only one to have had a Smythe Trophy winner in its lineup 3 straight years? The Montreal Canadiens, the Boston Bruins, or the Philadelphia Flyers? The answer, the Philadelphia Flyers. Goaltender Bernie Perron won the Smythe Trophy in 1974, and again... Montreal by the name of John Miller, who every year at this time digs through some dusty film archives and comes up with the annual Hockey Night in Canada playoff quiz. I hope you have your pencils and papers ready, because here we are with the 1978 edition. again for our annual Hockey Night in Canada Stanley Cup Playoff Quiz. Are you ready? Our first question concerns last year's Stanley Cup competition. Who scored the most playoff goals in 1977? Was it Lanny McDonald of the Toronto Maple Leafs? Bobby Schmotz of the Boston Bruins? Or Guy Lafleur of Canada? The answer, Bobby Schmotz of the Bruins with 11 goals in 14 games. McDonald was next with 10 goals in 9 games. Can you name the last team to defeat the Montreal Canadiens in a Stanley Cup final series? Was it the Boston Bruins, the Philadelphia Flyers, or the Toronto Maple Leafs? The answer, the Toronto Maple Leafs, who defeated the Canadiens in the Stanley Cup final in 1967. This was George Armstrong's cup-clinching goal into an empty net in Game 6 at Maple Leaf Gardens. It marked the last time the Maple Leafs have been able to enjoy a scene like this. The Conn Smythe Trophy is an individual award, so be careful. What team is the only one to have had a Smythe Trophy winner in its lineup 3 straight years? The Montreal Canadiens, the Boston Bruins, or the Philadelphia Flyers? The answer, the Philadelphia Flyers. Goaltender Bernie Parent won the Smythe Trophy in 1974 and again in 1975. Reg Leach was the winner in 1976. Who holds the record of having scored the most goals in a Stanley Cup final series? Repeat, a Stanley Cup final series. Was it Maurice Rocket Richard, Jean Beliveau, or Reg Leach? The answer, Jean Beliveau, who scored 7 goals in 5 games in the 1956 Cup Final Series between the Canadiens and the Detroit Red Wings. Beliveau leads all NHL point getters in playoff competition with a total of 176. And now the final question. Name the last team to win the Stanley Cup 3 straight years. Was it the Montreal Canadiens, the Detroit Red Wings, or the Toronto Maple Leafs? The answer, the Toronto Maple Leafs, to do it 3 straight times. 1962, 1963, and 1964. 5 questions. How did you do in our annual Stanley Cup Playoff Quiz? We had Bill Clement rating the centers on a scale of 10. How did you do on the scale of 5 on our quiz? The Canadiens lead the Toronto Maple Leafs by a score of 3-2. In Boston, it's 5-5 in the 3rd period. And Donnie Marshall is standing by. Donnie will be joining me in just a moment with the highlights from that game in Boston. With the Stanley Cup playoffs in just a moment.
Well, it's kind of hard to describe what makes you go there. 6 feet of snow or in spring you go, every time you get a weekend free. It's just a feeling you get from the very air you're breathing. Something that says you found it right where you want to be.
Well,
Well, in the summer, there's swimming and sailing. In the winter, there's ice fishing, skiing. In the fall, you tromp around these woods, and the colors are incredible. There's always something different. And I don't care where you go, you won't find better country or a better beer.
So get the great taste, that's Canadian. Molson Canadian. All year round, it's Canadian. It's your kind of beer.
I'll get it, Daddy. I might.
Ready? It's when your children are growing up that you realize you're not getting any younger either, and that it's time to review your own plans for the future. Talk it over with a Mutual Life of Canada agent.
Hey, Mr. Wilson. Hi, Darrell. Have a good time.
We understand.
Life is a mutual affair.
30 seconds ago, we were informed that the Bruins have taken the lead. It's 6-5 for Boston now. Middleton scoring his second of the night. Donnie, as was the case in the first intermission, you got a lot of highlights from the Garden.
A lot of goals, Dick, and it's a strange thing in a playoff game. There's not a lot of checking going on. The defense are really, they're out to lunch, and the goalkeepers, they're not distinguishing themselves. We're going to look at a goal by Bobby Schmutz, and it's a strange goal, and Don Marcotte is going to end out taking Bernie Perron right out of the play, and Bobby Schmutz has an empty net to shoot at. He picks up the puck here from Grade Shepherd, moves in, he takes a shot. Now watch the screen when it comes back to the goal, and Perron is down and out of it, and Don Marcotte is down, and they had a little bit of a collision and a little bit of controversy after. I don't think the Philadelphia Flyers like that too much.
All right. What were the Flyers doing to come back, Donnie? Because they came way back to tie it.
They just kept pecking away. They didn't quit. They kept on coming. Didn't change the game. Here's the puck coming up. Clark drags the leg to stay on side. Going to drop it to Rick McLeish. Barber heads for the net. McLeish's shot is on the net. It must have hit Barber's stick because they credited it to him, but it looks a little doubtful at the time. Here's a goal by McLeish. He's moving to the left. Cheevers moved to the left, and the shot along the ice wasn't the greatest goal, but it counted. Now here's Bobby Clark. No, Bob Daly's going to score this one. He'll break up the middle. This is right at the end of the second period. He's going to attempt a pass. He misses the puck. There's the attempted pass. I can't pass it. I may as well put it in the net. And he's got a goal for himself, and that made it 5-4 at the end of the second period. A good comeback, and early in the third period, Bobby Clark scores. He takes the puck here from Bill Barber, and the shot is from pretty far out, and Clark doesn't have the best shot in the league by far, but it's right on the corner of the net. They made it 5-5, and Middleton finally did score.
I don't think the members of the Goaltenders Union are going to appreciate you showing all of those highlights, Donnie. I think we are going to, if we can, get a chance to look at the Middleton goal that's given Boston the lead. Donnie, you haven't seen this one.
I haven't seen it.
But here it comes, and the Bruins have the puck in the Philadelphia zone. That's Brad Park.
That's Brad Park with it. We'll just have to play it by ear. He's firing it across. Well, Middleton's all alone. Just deflects it up over Bernie Perron. Well, good defenseman right for lunch once again, Nick.
As you said, exactly. Were the Flyers, you said they were pecking away, but obviously the flow had to be going in Philadelphia's way.
Well, after they were down 5-1, they just kept coming back, and they took the play over from Boston. And I would have thought when I left the TV room that Boston were in big trouble, and Philadelphia would come on score, and Boston needed that goal because they could have lost that game, and they needed to go to Philadelphia.
Okay, Donnie, and should further goals be scored in the next few moments, we'll have them for you during the course of the play-by-play of the Canadians and the Leafs, and for that right now, here again is Dan.
Okay, again, Dick and Donnie, 3-2 the score here with Montreal leading Toronto, and they're lining up for the start of the third period. Bill Clement, what are you looking for here?
I'm looking for a good third period, hopefully.
Yeah? Any more hitting, do you think?
Not as much.
Not as much. Okay, away we go. It's into the Toronto zone. Back goes Johansson in pursuit. His shot up to Maloney on the left side, and his pass is off a stick to center. Here's Savard to Robinson. Pass intercepted by Maloney. Over the line with Turnbull. Maloney into the corner, jammed out of the play, and Lafleur shoots it down the ice on the right side, and that's going to be icing against Montreal. Do you feel with just the one-goal lead that this is a platter, and Montreal will be icing it at every opportunity?
Well, I doubt that they want that many face-offs in their own end, and they understand as well as any team that if they go into a shell, the Toronto offense will just have a great advantage, so they can't afford to go into a shell, and they can't really afford to ice the puck. What they have to do is continue to attempt to take the play to the Toronto Maple Leafs and play in Toronto's end.
Yes, but despite players and coaches, they realize you can't do that. Invariably, a team will do it.
Yes, it's difficult to get out of your head that you have to continue to play offensively. You tend to go into a shell and just back off.
When Toe Blake had the powerhouses, I used to say to him, Toe, why did you have them play defensive hockey? He said, I didn't tell them to play that kind of hockey. Now in the face-off in the Canadian zone. Savard ahead to Gainey. Gainey into the center ice area, lobbed a shot in there on the move as Réjean Palmatier clearing it. And there is Turnbull. Turnbull making moves. Losing it to Gainey, who feeds it back into the corner. There's Johansson contending with Réjean Uhl, and the puck rolls down the ice to the Canadian zone. Here's Robinson gathering speed on the right side to the Toronto line. Who's puck into the slot. Let's see, are they going to clear it? And Turner has it on the right side to Ellis. Ellis over the line. Ellis cutting, and it's knocked away by Savard. Gainey and Maloney fight for it along the board. They get a whistle. And the play is stopped. A minute and 24 seconds have gone by in the third period, 3-2. Montreal leading Toronto. And we just saw Turnbull go to the bench, and we can't help but repeat ourselves about his play, Bill.
Well, he's playing well, but he's a tired young man right now.
Well, let's see. They played 2 games against L.A., 7 against New York. That's 9. It's the 11th playoff game. Now there's Shutt taking a long shot. That was played dropped a little carelessly by Palmatier, but it went at the right angle into the corner. Now it goes to Mondeau. He shovels it in. Lenny playing it to Carlisle. Carlisle being watched by Mondeau. Boutet up on the left side. Lafleur is after him. And Boutet clearing it in. Jones moving in from center. And Butler from the right side to Lapointe. He missed his man Mondeau. Down the ice it goes. And it's icing about to be called against Montreal. From the Forum of Montreal, this is Stanley Cup, 78.
What's a guy like me doing ironing shirts? It's not so hard. I got a GE self-cleaning iron that uses most tap water and flushes itself to help stop brown spotting. And a self-cleaning valve to help prevent clogging. Not bad, eh? Listen, if my wife can paint a wall, I can iron a few shirts.
Yeah, whenever the walls need painting.
The self-clean, too. Cleans itself to last twice as long as ever before.
Darling.
From Canadian General Electric.
I understand 7-5 for Boston over Philadelphia. Dick, that reminds me of the 8-7 game here between Dryden and Esposito.
Last shot wins.
Lanny McDonald fires it in. There's Charcot bouncing to the right side against Turnbull. Cleared it down the ice. Jarvis with Gainey. Gainey getting in front, and the pass went through the crease. 3-2, Montreal leading here in the third period. Now Jarvis shoots it across the line. Sprawling is McDonald. Out it came. It was brought in by Charcot offside.
Bill, I've often wondered on a chance, but like such as Gainey and Jarvis had. Gainey was skating by the net. He kept going full tilt. Why does the player stop dead in front of the crease? I've seen so many chances that I feel could have been converted or something done with it.
He has
to
just
stop.
Well, what happens is he has to stay ahead of the person that was following him, and in that case, I think it was Lanny McDonald who was closing in on Gainey, and if Gainey stops, it gives Lanny McDonald a chance to get the stick on him and hopefully tip it in. But you're right, at times they could stop.
Now Nyrop rattling it off the corner boards. Réjean couldn't get a pass in front. McDonald's rink-wide pass. On it is Jarvis. On the left side, Nyrop deflected at the center. McDonald is knocked to the ice by Jarvis. Réjean playing it into the corner, and Pellick moves in there quickly for Toronto. Pass up on the right side to McDonald. He lobbed at the center. It's knocked down. Lambert feeding it back in. And the Canadian strategy as we near the 4th minute mark into the third period is to move up there apparently and tie up Toronto before they can get started. Here's Cournoyer. Cournoyer centered it. Off the boards to Savard. There's the shot. And Lanny McDonald. He missed Turnbull with it down the ice. It goes, and the Leafs are about to be called for ice.
Danny, I just thought of another reason, perhaps, that players don't stop when they and that is, it's tiring. It's hard stopping and getting going again out there. It's nice when you just glide around.
That old stops and starts routine in the practice.
Exactly.
You're in a slump. Well, as Bill Nyrup looks on from the Canadiens bench, and Pierre Mondieu gets set for the face-off. It's a 3-2 Montreal lead. Far cry from that wild scoring affair in Boston.
Here's Cournoyer clearing it in. Glennie chopped it to the line, not out. Apparently it did come out. It's offside.
We are going to take a look at the 7th Boston goal. Here is Gene Hart.
Shepard behind the Flyer net. Right out in front. Mark lines up a shot. Saves Shepard with an open net. Scores! And that Shepard is a good leader, isn't he, Bill?
Very good leader.
Now it's back into the Canadian zone. Boston leading 7-5. It's 3-2 here. Montreal over Toronto by 1 goal. Now Toronto Maple Leafs in front. The Maloney pass is gobbled up by Robinson. Robinson over to Lambert, cutting right in on goal! And he lost it with Paul Matier coming out. Now Carlisle takes it away for the Leafs up to Maloney. The pass will be picked up finally by Ellis on the right side, and he shot it off the corner board. Savard twisting and turning against the low. Goal fall. Here's Cournoyer into the center ice area. Mondieu is trailing it back pass. Oh, Cournoyer! He was leveled by Johansson. Cournoyer's stick broke. Now Cournoyer uses his skate. He's been using everything else in his playoff. But was he ever belted by Johansson? There's coming to the line. Ferguson. Ferguson backtracks. Pass almost stopped cleanly by Lafleur. Getting it to Lemaire with the head fake, but he couldn't get by Pelé. Johansson. He missed Butler with that pass. Down the ice it goes. And Lapointe clears it to Robinson. Long lead pass. Lafleur couldn't get it. He's going to try to touch it ahead of Pellick. He doesn't. And it is icing against Montreal.
Tonight's Stanley Cup playoff game is coming to you from all four.
The Magic Organ, a special album of 25 all-time favorites. This 25 all-time favorites album is in the stores now. Album $6.99, tape $7.99. The Magic Organ.
Take a look at that hit that the rookie Johansson put on the veteran Cournoyer right there.
The Leafs needing a goal to get back on even terms. Everybody up for the face-off. The Canadians get it. Lemaire to Lafleur. Lafleur on the right side. He lost it. Jones turning along with Boutet. They hit the Montreal line. And coming out the Montreal Canadiens, Paul Matier is out of the net, and they're beginning to throw some programs on the ice. That would be the Canadian supporters, I would think.
We are going to have a delay here, I believe. There was a shower of popcorn came down. If it hit the ice, they're going to have to clean things up. And Lemaire was upset from a play before. Somebody had run into him. I think it was Boutet. And like that was, he was mad from the last movie. And then when the play resumed again, he gets nailed for a penalty.
I think
a very good penalty as the saying goes.
I think that most players just want consistency from referees. Dan Maloney tied up Savard in the corner a little earlier, and it's rather frustrating when you think that you have done the same thing that another player has done and gotten away with it. The other player has, and you haven't been able to.
Okay, Bill, we'll see what will eventuate here on behalf of the Toronto Maple Leaf cause. They go to the power play. Here's the announcement.
There's one that upset the fans.
Two for holding at 5 minutes, 46 seconds.
The Montreal fans don't throw octopi on the ice as the Detroit fans do they?
There are none remaining in North America. They use them all in Detroit. And before that, the record was held when they used 45, throwing them at Red Story back in the 50s. Now the power play for Toronto. Sittler trying to get it back. Jarvis falls. Valley-Kent to Carlisle. Over to Valley-Kent. Fakes the jump right in front of the shot by Sittler. Lost. Right. Here's Gainey. Tank it up. Lanny McDonald firing it back in. Let's see if LaPointe can get it out ahead to Jarvis. And it hits Armstrong outside the line. Lanny McDonald back in. He carves it off the corner boards over on the other side. Sittler bumped by Gainey. Gainey, with the help of LaPointe, shooting it into the center ice area. Turnbull ahead for Sittler. LaPointe to Gainey, and he fires it into the center ice area. 1 minute and 4 seconds left in the penalty to Lemaire. And we have 13-13 left in the third period. Montreal leading 3-2. Here come the Toronto Maple Leafs. Sittler over the line, makes the move. He's going to look. There goes the Turnbull. He fired it! What a save by Dryden. Whether he saw it or not, it doesn't make any difference. It was remarkable and scintillating. That looked like the tying goal for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Here's Sittler again, digging in over the line. He takes a look. The pass into the corner. Valley-Kent turning back to Carlisle. Into Valley-Kent. Sittler going in against Dryden. In behind Savard. Fired it on the boards. Turnbull along the boards. And he holds it there. And let's have another look at that.
Lemaire in the penalty box, 19 seconds left in his penalty. Boston, the Bruins have defeated the Flyers 7-5 final score. Boston takes a 2-0 lead in that series. They got off to a lead bigger than the Canadians did, but the home teams, after good starts, have had their problems. Here's that chance, Danny. One of the chances that the Leafs had, Sittler and Dryden down on the play. I don't think we're going to see that Turnbull shot, at least not right here. But that was a super save as King Clancy and Harold Ballard look on. They're checking the clock here a moment ago. I noticed 12:33 left in regulation time.
Still on the power play. The Toronto Maple Leafs. Robinson lugging it down on the right side. Jarvis is getting in front. Oh, a wicked drive from the sharp angle by Robinson. Ellis down quickly with Weir. Ellis losing it to Robinson. Robinson side to Jarvis. Jarvis winds up shooting it, and he was wide with it. Here's Gainey playing it back into the corner. Pellick has it. The penalty has expired. And Dryden had to pull off a couple of great saves to keep it 3-2 for Montreal. Here's Cournoyer picking up a glove pass, and it's called back.
This is Stanley Cup 78 from the Montreal Forum.
Hey, Canada, the weekend's come.
Now's the time to relax with the taste of this country. Coming at ya in one great lager beer. Now's the time for Canadians, Open Canadians. It's your kind of beer.
8 hours from now, they'll be hard at it again. Game 3 in this series, Saturday night at Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Hockey Night in Canada on the air.
Now Cournoyer tipped it out. Ondu cutting in on the right side. Fired it. The rebound in front of the net. And Ferguson, let's see. It was another glove pass or a high stick. What was it, glove pass?
I think so, yes. Boy, Mondu had a lot of skating room, Bill Clement, and he elected well out.
He had skating room. He also had passing room, I think. But you're right,
Bill,
he did shoot it from far out.
This young man who we just saw, Paul Mateer, he challenges you, doesn't he?
He certainly does. He shows a lot every time he plays. Every time I've seen him play this year and last year, he shows me a lot. Mondu's shot is from far out. Let's face it, when you shoot like Pierre Mondu does, you can afford to shoot from out there. My range is a little closer to the net than that.
Now Lambert. Lambert into the corner, twisting and turning. Lambert losing it to Ferguson. Valley can't clear it out. Good work. Mondu in the corner, rubbed into the boards by Carlisle. Lambert bumped Johansson. Will they get a whistle? Yes, they do. 11:22 left in the third period. 3-2. Montreal over Toronto.
You know, we rated centermen between the second and third period, and anytime, Dick, you'd like to rate left wingers, you can call me because I'll have Bob Gainey right near the top of the list. I love watching him play. I think he's tremendous. As long as I'm wearing shoes, pants, a shirt, and tie, I love watching him. But I don't like watching him from the same level as him.
What is he, 8.5, 9?
Oh, he'd be up that high in my books. Maybe I'm partial to defensive players because I can't score goals. I don't know.
From the face-off. Johansson around the net. Lugging that puck well into the center ice area, firing it in. Now he moves in and decides to fall back with Savard leading a Montreal play. From center, he tipped it in. Boutet with Lafleur after him. Carlisle faked the pass. Now he gets it to Jones. Broken up by Lafleur. Lemaire gets it over to shot centered it. And back all alone into the center ice area to the Montreal line. Robinson broke it up and Savard tipped it to center. Here's Carlisle bringing it in. Faking the shot again. He couldn't hit Jones with it. Shot got clear, but this could be icing. I'll look at back after it. It's icing against the Canadians. 10.5 minutes left.
Before we have a break, I'd like to mention that one of our good friends in Vancouver and a veteran member of our Hockey Night in Canada family, Bill Patterson, recently underwent serious surgery. I'm delighted to report that Bill has come through with flying colors. All of us here in the East wish you well, Bill, and speak in a very pleasant summer. And at the same time, I'd also like to say hello to a broadcasting confrere of ours, Fred Walker of the CBC, who is in the Lachine General Hospital. Fred, take it easy and get well soon.
So those are my sentiments also to Bill and Fred. And from Bill Clement also. So the face-off in the Montreal zone, 3-2 for the Canadians. Jarvis from the corner. He's hemmed in, but gets it away on the left side to Gainey. To Savard. Savard into the center ice area. Gets the left wing pass. Gainey was knocked down. Leafs clear it back. Robinson back after it. Ford, Checky, McDonald, and Sittler. Turnbull is up on left wing. He's a forward. Here's Gainey in full flight at center down to the Toronto line. Gainey into the corner. Halleck after him. And they exchange vigorous body belt. Puck back at center. Robinson lost his stick. Now Savard. Less than 10 minutes to go in the third period. 9 minutes and 42 seconds. And it's Savard. Turning at his own line to Robinson. Robinson ahead. Risebrough back to Savard. Savard shooting it in. Canadians rush in there. Risebrough centering it. The net was empty. Luckily for Toronto, there wasn't a Canadian there, but there was the captain of the Leafs. He's coming down. Turnbull shoots it after taking the Sittler pass. Risebrough over on the right side. Glennie cleared it away from Chartrand. Here's Turnbull losing it. Chartrand fired it toward the corner, and it's over the glass.
With the score, Montreal 3, Toronto 2. This is Stanley Cup 78.
Whenever 30 or more hungry people get together, let Colonel Sanders make everyone happy with his do-it-yourself buffet. Each person gets salads, bread, and 3 pieces of finger-licking good Kentucky Fried Chicken. Colonel Sanders do-it-yourself buffet. Fast, easy, and economical.
Give us 2 hours' notice, then come and get it.
Pick up Kentucky Fried Chicken in your neighborhood. Colonel Sanders and his boys make it finger-licking good.
There's the situation, the 2 goaltenders. The 9:07 remaining in the third period. Canadians leading 3-2.
Now Cournoyer whips center. That's the signal for Mondu, Lambert, and Cournoyer to go deeply into Toronto territory. And the Leafs, Johansson gets it to Carlisle, ahead off Butler's stick. Here's Jones going after it. He may get a shot. He elected to pass it, and it was blocked. point. And luckily for the Canadians, the point was there because Boutet was getting right in front. A shot by Jones. Boutet would have been in there in the clear. Good work by Jones all the way around.
Bill, one thing the Canadians don't have to contend with right about now is holding that Tiger. Dave Williams, I don't think, has played since the first period. He's on the lead bench down beside backup goaltender Gord McRae. There is the final score from Boston, 7-5. The Bruins winning it, and they take the 2-0 lead in that series into the Spectrum in Philadelphia this weekend.
There's a look at Dryden, Canadians bench, LaPointe. Now Glennie shooting it right on. That's a dangerous type of shot. Partially screened in the low, but Dryden had it lined up. Now the puck goes back into Leafs territory. Back there goes Glennie. Head manning it to Jones. Jones to the left side to Boutet. He fired into the corner, number 17, Butler, going after Robinson. Leafs would settle for a stoppage here and a face-off to the right of Dryden, but the Canadians, Savard, gets it out to shot on the other side. Here's Lemaire. Lemaire dropping it back to shot. He fired! And Jones got his stick up in time and deflected that hard shot high over the net. Otherwise, it could have been a dangerous shot. Now, Boutet over the line. In it goes. Here's Jones around the net trying to poke it in. And Dryden got over there with his stick in the ice. Here's Jones into Boutet. Into the corner. Robinson clearing it for shot. He cleared it out over the line. Butler losing it to Robinson. Robinson into the center ice area. Gives it to Lafleur. Good play by Carlisle. Carlisle to Butler. In on the line. And Savard broke that out. Savard's long pass ends up in Toronto territory. There is Carlisle. On the ice comes McDonald. Carlisle lost it, got it again. Johansson against Réjean Houle. Jarvis in on the boards. He's jammed out of the play by Carlisle. Gainey hits Johansson. And it's LaPointe back in his own zone for Montreal. 6 minutes and 45 seconds left in regulation time. Montreal 3, Toronto 2. Canadians clearing it in. Somebody has lost a glove. It's in the circle to the right of Paul Matier, and they'll have an opportunity to pick it up now.
This Stanley Cup playoff game is coming to you from the Montreal Forum.
Ford of Canada's commitment to you. Every Ford and Lincoln Mercury car sold in Canada has a special warranty. A no extra charge 36-month unlimited distance warranty against rust perforation. This warranty backs up Ford of Canada's DuraGuard system of 7 anti-rust processes built in at the factory and standard on 1978 North American-built Ford and Lincoln Mercury cars sold in Canada. Ford is committed to quality, reliability, and durability. And to you.
And again, the reminder, Game 3, Saturday night, Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto. Our Hockey Night in Canada telecast time, 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight.
Canadians, everybody up. Carlisle gives it to Johansson off the board. Here is Gainey. Gainey turning on the left side. He shoots it in. The shot's on goal, 23-20 at this juncture in the game for the Canadians. Not many shots, but a fair amount. It's the 5th-minute mark of the second period. And because of that, it has developed into a rather titanic struggle, being a playoff game. Just the one goal separating the team. Now Rysbrough fell against Carlisle. Nyrop shooting it in, and again the Montreal Canadiens moving their forwards deep into Toronto territory. And that is about the 3rd infraction of a glove pass that we've had in this period.
There's Trevor Johansson and Bill Clement with Boria Salming injured, with Ian Turnbull playing the last 2 periods of this game as a forward. The Toronto defense has been, you might say, without Turnbull and Salming.
They've been exceptional. I counted them out of that Islander series because Boria Salming logs close to 50 minutes. And without him, I thought it would be impossible for Toronto to make up for his loss, but they have done very well.
You get a good example of it tonight watching number 4, Johansson, number 16, Jones, and Carlisle. The way these youngsters are playing. There's Pellick. Ellick firing it over for Maloney on the left side. A pass back, and it's gobbled up by Robinson. He has Risebrough with him. Risebrough shooting it. Oh, he didn't miss by much. And it came off the corner boards back to Savard. Now Canadians turning. Risebrough for Chartrand. Chartrand will shoot, and he drifted a high shot. Now Robinson, oh, he ran into his old man Risebrough. And Risebrough got a pretty good piece of Robinson. Robinson taking his man Weir into the boards and gets the stoppage in play. 5:07 left, Bill.
That was a nice hit.
Well, I tell you, in the playoffs, that's a dangerous thing because Trottier and Harris came together, and Brian Trottier suffered a very sore jaw as a result, which sort of kept him out of one game, more or less. He was severely hampered that night. Right there, a close call for two Canadian players.
Here's Lapointe. Off the left wing boards, the pass goes to Glennie. Firing it to Ellis, coming in on the right side, and he waited. There's a shot. Another shot, right in front. A loose puck. Oh, Dryden saved the day for the Canadians against number 9, Maloney. Here's Mondeau. Mondeau takes a look to Cournoyer. Cournoyer back to Mondeau. Oh, what a gilt-edged scoring opportunity the Leafs had back down in the north end. They jam in on the boards. Weir and Lambert. That looks like a tie hockey game.
Well, Ken Dryden had to come up big, and he hasn't really been tested that much in the third period. He made it cold that he showed us that he was prepared for that series of shots by the Toronto team.
The first one by Ellis, he steered wide, but the big chance came in from the left side, Bill, right here with Maloney in front.
Well, I think the rebound to Weir was just as dangerous. He made a series of tremendous saves there.
4 minutes and 27 seconds indicated on the big clock above center ice here at the Forum of Montreal, and that's the time remaining in regulation time. And the face-off to the left of Paul Matier. Lemaire against Jones. Canadians with Nyrop and Lapointe in over the Leafs line.
With that Boston game over, the home teams have won 23 of 33 playoff games completed so far.
From the face-off, here is Jones lugging it. Finally gets the pass to Boutet. Boutet firing it in. Butler coming around. He fell over Dryden behind the net. Canadians. Lemaire to Lafleur. Lafleur on the right side. Carlisle after Lafleur. It's left in there. Boutet jammed Lemaire out of the play. Here's Lafleur playing it back toward the corner. Jones hands it off to Carlisle on the left side to Boutet. He swept away from Lafleur, gives it on the right side to Johansson. Johansson feeding it in for Toronto. Dryden watching it carefully. In there goes Lemaire. Lemaire goes to the line. Takes his time. He'll shoot it in. There it goes. 3 minutes and 35 seconds left in regulation time. Montreal 3, Toronto 2. Gainey took it away from Roger Nielsen, the coach, making changes. Here's Gainey going in. He fired it to the short side. Paul Matier had it well covered.
Live from the Montreal Forum, the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Now, Hitachi brings out its biggest gun for the new 26-inch Luminar 1 color console. Luminar 1, the system that gives you full beam color. Full beam. No gaps like conventional systems, but put all the color on the screen. Look at the elegant wood cabinet. It's 5 inches slimmer, thanks to our new 110-degree picture tube. The 26-inch Luminar 1. New from Hitachi.
Bill, as you see, just 3:20 left. Going to be a tense 3 minutes and 20 seconds.
Think we're going to do overtime?
Could very well be. Then again, a goal has to be scored to have that. That is by Toronto. Now Jarvis takes a shot. He hit Gainey. Jarvis again. In on the boards. Jarvis knocked to the ice by McDonald. Here's Gainey behind the net from the corner. Gainey turns back. takes the shot to the short side. Jarvis is after it. Here's Ray Jean-Houl back to Jarvis. Jarvis gives it to Savard. Savard cleared it back in there. Gainey is going to get it over in the left corner. Gainey back to Robinson. In it goes to Jarvis. He was hit and knocked to the ice. The Leafs need possession here to get an attack going. They start into the center ice area. Here's Sittler, and the pass broken up by Robinson. To Ray Jean-Houl. I'll tell you this, Canadians during the year, they're very difficult to get a goal on in the last couple of minutes. Let's see if the Leafs can do it here with 2 minutes and 18 seconds left. There's Maloney tipping it over to Sittler. Robinson, he played another tremendous game. There's the shot! Rebound! Glennie ahead to Maloney. Savard at the line, keeping it in for Cournoyer. Cournoyer still with it, and he shoots it off the corner boards. Lambert bumping with Maloney, two rugged individuals. Drives through to Cournoyer. Here's Cournoyer. Cournoyer the corner to the other side. The Canadians controlling the puck here. That's their aim, trying to keep Toronto bottled up in their own zone. They get a whistle with 1 minute and 39 seconds left. Regulation time face-off in Toronto territory. 3-2. Canadians over the Leafs.
Well, I spoke earlier, Danny, of Montreal not going into a shell. They realized that they had to take the play to Toronto, and that's exactly what they've done. It's pretty difficult to score from your own end, and that's what Toronto is having to attempt to do. They've broken out of their end only momentarily now and then, and have had only 1 or 2 good scoring chances in that series of shots they had on Ken Dryden a few minutes ago.
Well, as I mentioned during the last 2 or 3 minutes of the game during the year, seldom were they scored on. You've got these great defensive hockey players, Gainey and Jarvis, and on the face-off, Lemaire's better face-off man in the entire league, and Big Robinson, I think he's been tremendous again tonight.
Certainly has. Gainey's been outstanding. You put 2 defensemen with the arm span that Serge Savard have. When you put them beside one another, there was Roger Nielsen actually mapping something out for Ian Turnbull, who has been used almost exclusively in the last half of the game as a winger, and he's probably trying to tell him what a winger's responsibility is.
Ferguson is on for Toronto, along with Boutet and Ellis. Carlisle on defense with Johansson. Here come the Leafs up on the left side. Nobody near Boutet. He done something or got caught up as he tried to make a fancy turn.
How would you like to have one of those seats where there's no glass right beside the Montreal bench and without wearing equipment there?
Well, it is a very dangerous spot, but these people have been there for so many years now, they got it down pat the way they duck when the puck flies over the boards there. Scotty Bowman, he's working on the ice. He has ice cubes over there. And it's only in tight games like this that he'll go to the ice cube. You saw him go there, Bill. That means this is a serious situation.
Perfect time for it, too.
Oh, yeah. Now it's Ferguson facing off against Lemaire, and the time is with 1:27 in regulation time. Ahead to Ferguson. Ferguson coming up with Butler over the line. Here's Ferguson. The shot. Oh, the angle was sharp. Johansson shoots it. A screen shot. And the only reason perhaps why that didn't win, it was high, went off a stick. So a couple of nervous moments there for the Canadians as the Leafs went to the attack. Now Montreal into the center. With 50 seconds left, Leafs would like to be able to get their goaltender out of the net. Gainey has been injured. He's gone to the Canadiens' dressing room. Now the Leafs. Johansson ahead to Sittler, broken up by Lemaire. Lemaire feeding it back in. Carlisle gets it out. Here's Lafleur. His pass. Stopped by McDonald. Here comes Palmatier. Now he backtracks. Lapointe gets the puck and clears it back to the Toronto line. 22 seconds left. Here's Lafleur. Lafleur getting set, and the shot of Carlisle's stick over the glass. 16 seconds left. You saw Palmatier there. He thought he was going to be able to, but Lapointe broke up the play. There's this one I talked about. Oh, it was a blistering drive. Look.
Yeah, I don't know who it hit, but it was labeled for the top corner of that net. They had opportunities there, and it remains to be seen whether they're going to get another one. 16 seconds with a face-off just outside their own blue line. Well, Palmatier is going to the bench. It looks like they're going to pull for an extra attacker, even though the face-off is outside their blue line. But what have they got to lose, huh? 16 seconds to go.
So let's pick up the alignment for Toronto. Weir, Valley, Katz, Sittler, Maloney, Turnbull. Defending for Montreal, Robinson, Cournoyer, Jarvis, Lapointe, and Savard. Scotty Bowman going with three defensemen, full-fledged defensemen, with Robinson playing up on the left side. Face off at the Leafs line. It's cleared in. Here's Turnbull firing it over on the right side. It goes to center. They jam in on the board. Valick gets trying to get it. They hold his face-off, just 7 seconds left. But the face-off this time will be near Canadian territory, just outside the line. And Roger Nielsen has vacated his goaltending area by putting Paul Matier on the bench.
Well, I have nothing but respect for teams that exhibit that never-say-die attitude. And Toronto fought back from that 2-0 deficit, only to go down by 1 goal, and they put up a valiant effort. Montreal has quite an awesome team.
Well, this has got to be good for the morale of the Toronto Maple Leafs going into their own rink for the 3rd game down 2-0 and fighting back as courageously as they have fought.
It's always nice to go home, Danny.
By the way, when are you going to Atlanta?
Well, I wouldn't mind seeing some overtime. I don't have to catch my plane until noon tomorrow, so I was hoping for some overtime.
Well, let's see if we're going to have overtime. As you got a shot of the two coaches, their countenances do not indicate that they are nervous, but Nielsen and Bowman are human beings, so to speak. There's the puck. There he is. Cleared in. Long shot. 1 second. The game is over. And the Montreal Canadiens off the bench to congratulate Dryden. Whereas Dryden was flawed for a couple of goals in the first game, tonight he came up with some key saves, although he didn't have that much work.
He didn't have that much work, you're right, but unlike the first game, he came up big when he had to, and even if he was cold out there, lack of action, he came up big when he had to.
I see Tiger Williams out there talking to Brian Lewis. I wonder what the kernel of that discussion is. Williams did he see any service at all in the 3rd period?
I don't think he saw any service following the midway mark of the 1st period.
So Williams is being booed by the fans, but he's a colorful individual. In just a moment, our 3-star selection.
We're sure you will never forget the time you have Brador. Everything you've heard about Brador is true. You may find some at your brewer's retail now.
Hey there with those kids to dress.
Go with us. Hey there sitting at that desk. Go with us.
Scotia Club. For 1 low monthly charge, you enjoy writing privileges, Scotiabank Charge X, traveler's checks at no charge, overdraft protection, and more. Scotia Club, the services you like best in one package.
Come to Scotiabank and go with us. Grow with us. Grow with us. Grow with us.
Mesdames et messieurs, voici maintenant les 3 étoiles Molson du match de ce soir, tel que choisi par M. Régent Tremblay du journal La. Ladies and gentlemen, here are tonight's Molson's 3 stars, selected by Régent Tremblay from La Presse.